Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the KSL of the Korean StarCraft League, week number 36. I'm, of course, Showslide VIP, and with me, I'm joined by the lovely people in the chat, by these amazing players as well. Exclamation mark B. Be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. This is your weekly dose of Korean StarCraft. As I say that, though, we're going to be featuring some non-Koreans here to begin with. Oh my god, as we dive into this already, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Hardled, we have the Ukrainian Zerg player representing Berserker Esports. It is Papa Demaga. And spawning in the top left, we have as opponent, we have the Teal Protoss representing Team Starcom. It is Ashbringer. And as we get into this, a big shout out to Bomyolja. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great, I'm assuming, ladder session. Thank you, do appreciate it. Have a good KSL. Thank you, do appreciate it. Yeah, we are just getting into the beginning here of KSL again. Still plenty of players are upon us, plenty of matches are currently ongoing. There are plenty of other English streams ongoing as well. Big shout out to Dave, Testa, and Chicken Man. Without them, this event would not be possible, and of course they are live on their respective channels, casting over in English. I believe Enki is casting in Spanish, and we may have some other language streamers as well. But for now, we have our best of 3. And we are getting on into this again. It's been far too long since I've casted these players. Just because it's been far too long since we've casted an OSC King of the Hill. That's typically where we feature Demaga and Ashbringer. Likewise, maybe in Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. So it is good to be back. And a big shout out as well to both of these players, because I mean, it takes quite a little bit here to actually take part in some of these Korean events. I know that it isn't the best time over in Europe. It's relatively late, I think it's around like midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m.-ish, depending on where in Europe you are. But I know that it is getting quite late there over in Europa. So yeah, really cool to see players kind of stay up here, participate, compete, and hopefully perform as well. Always do champion that. For now though, we're just kind of easing ourselves into this. Again, hatch gas pool opener by Demaga. Likewise, Ashbringer going for a gate cyber expand. Nothing too crazy here. What's important is that the Demaga, of course, it's been a while since we casted them, but Demaga, he is typically a player that thrives in the mid game. He's a very old school player. He's been around for a very long time, many years. He has been competing, and he's still up there. He's still one of the best. In WTL, he's also been competing for Berserker Esports, or at least in the previous season, and Demaga, he had some pretty solid performances. Last season in WTL Summer, both Asher and I, we were both very impressed, and we became very quick fans of Papa Demaga. It's hard not to be. Meanwhile, here we go. Ling's going to be getting across the map. They're looking for some scouting information. 2 Lings go down, but 2 more do make it into the natural and the main base. We're looking for a full scout, trying to get a read on what tech of choice is going to be thrown down. Looks like Ashbringer may be holding off. No, never mind. He throws it down. It's going to be a Twilight Council. Big scout here for Demaga, seeing the Twilight Council immediately, so he's fully aware of the aggression coming his way. Back at home, of course, Demaga, he's going to be droning for the time being. In a couple of moments, or at around the 4-minute mark, we should be throwing down a Roach Warren to get ready for the eventual either Glaive Adepts or DTs. Pick or choose, pick your poison here as, oh, that is a Forge. We were gonna throw down a Robo, but no, we throw down a Forge instead. That is an interesting variation. Yeah, as a result, this could be an Immortal Charge all-in. The Forge should be for +1. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting kind of deviation here from Ashbringer. This is not normal. This is not standard. Back at home, Demaga throws down that Roach Warren again around the 3-minute 40-ish mark. So relatively earlier Roach Warren just to be safe. We're going to be cutting workers at 37. We could try droning up a little bit further from here, but again, Demaga, he's just being as safe as possible against the aggression that he scouted. Now, there's that +1 that's on the way. We're going for a Gateway Explosion now. This is going to hit a little bit later. It's going to take a while for +1 to really kick in. And we are not upgrading anything from this Twilight Council. This is looking like a Soul Train-esque all-in, where we have vanilla Gateway units and I imagine Immortal production. Oh my god, no, there's a Templar Archives on the way. We're getting into the War Prism, so yeah, it's going to be an Archon base all-in here, again with no charge, but we may not need charge. Mate, it's fine. Slow loss. They can just wreak havoc. Don't worry about it. So yeah, really interesting build here from Ashbringer. Screams 2-base all in. I mean, there's only 4 gateways for the time being, but this is so tech heavy as well. We're still stuck on 2 bases. The Prism's going to be moving out with a handful of Adepts. By the time the Prism moves out, we will be able to warp in High Templar and warp in Archons as well. Now, regardless, Damaga, he's getting ready with Ling Roach Queen, so he should have enough to deflect this. There we go, the Archons are on the way. The Lair is a little bit greedy here from Damaga, is what I will say. That is going to eat into the overall Roach production. Damaga supply blocked here for a moment. 5 Overlords are on the way. Aye. And we'll see if we can keep up. For now, the Adepts, they turn back around. Okay. The Adepts turn back around, so they fake out an Adept push. We're going to be taking the 3rd base, and we're going to be harassing with Archons. Interesting. So this is not going to be a 2-base all-in. We have Charge on the way. +1 is done. +2 should be on the horizon. So this is going to be a +2 timing, I'm assuming here. And Damaga is confirming this with the Overseer. Meanwhile, the Archons have arrived. They take down one of the Overlords. The Overseer does confirm the researching. There it is. +2 is on the horizon. So Ashbringer just building himself up for a bit of a later timing instead. Building up that immortal count back at home. I'm curious if he's going to, or how much he's going to be saturating this 3rd base. I'm curious how heavily committed he's going to be here to his 3rd. Meanwhile, Damaga, upon seeing all this tech, he also confirmed the 3rd, so that is assigned to drone. Now Damaga knows that he can drone, he can saturate his bases. Obviously, he still has to keep up with these Archons, and the Archons, oh, they shaved off a lot of Lings, actually. 16 Lings did go down. So, a big blow here to the army, but we're only losing Lings at least, and Damaga is just securing himself. Should be working on a 4th hatchery, and there it is. 4th base is now on the way. Working towards Roach speed. And yeah, Damaga, he's in a decent position for the time being. The big sign is whether or not we do move out. +2, halfway done. Gateway explosion behind this as well. That's going to be 8 gates in total. Or even more than that, actually. That's going to be up to, Jesus, 10 gates even. Aye. That's a lot of gateways. So again, I was really curious how much we were going to saturate this 3rd. And we do saturate it a little bit, don't get me wrong. We're getting up to 3-base saturation, at least when it comes to minerals. I don't think we need these gases, not when it comes to this +2 push. How much are we going to be moving out with? We have 2 Archons in the War Prism. We have 3 Immortals, a lot of Sentries, and pure Zealot. Looks like we're going up to 4 Immortals with this. This is going to hit like a truck. And we will need Lings and Ravagers to defend. Ravagers especially, because there are so many Sentries here, we need something to deal with those force fields. Otherwise, Ashbringer is going to have his way with Damaga's army. There it is. Ravagers are being morphed in. I'm loving the spotter Lings we have sent out. Changeling going to be waddling in as well. Does get eyes on the army. We are aware. The army's going to be pushing on forward. And it looks like we're going to be bypassing the main army, going straight for the natural. Even a couple of roaches do get peeled off. They do head straight into the mineral line. Cybercore is going to be focused down, and we're going to get the hell out of here. The force fields are thrown down, but we have the Ravagers to deal with them. Force fields have been broken. We are going to retreat. We have to respect these Immortals, but at the same time, as all this has been happening, probes have been falling. 6 workers go down. Roaches are going to get surrounded. Damaga likewise knocking down these rocks. He's going to be cutting workers here at 3-way saturation. 66 drones, that is all Damaga has. That's all he needs. I mentioned before that Damaga, he thrives here in the mid-game. 3-way saturation. He shouldn't be droning up any more than this. And Damaga, he's just making nothing but Roach Ravager. Damaga himself is all in. He's actually hitting before Ashbringer pushes, which is interesting. We have +3 attack on the way. Oh my god, and we're still building up more Immortals. Fully saturated on these 3 bases. Additional Ravagers are on the way, and we're transitioning. Damaga taking additional gases, going for a Hydrogen. I love this. We're working towards Lurkers, but it's still a ways away. We are maxed. Damaga, he invested so much money or so many resources into this army. It did delay his tech. We're pushing on forward. Big force fields once again. Good kiting against these Zealots, but again, the Immortals, they're just having their way. Oh my god, they just chunking through those roaches. 35 roaches have gone down. And 6 Ravagers. And not a single Immortal, and as the Immortal count gets higher, I have to get more and more concerned for Damaga. 6 Immortals. Ay. Again, Demaga, he's trying to trade as best he can. He's trying to keep the army busy. If he backs off too much, then that will trigger a counterattack, and I don't think Demaga can hold against this. We have the Lurker Den on the way, but again, the tech has been delayed, and the Lurker Den is still a ways off. We need more time. We need more time for the Lunkers, and here we go. Ashbringer, he's collapsing on this army. He does close the distance. Good force fields. Cleans up every single Ravager. And Ashbringer, he's snowballing out of control. This death ball of an army cannot be stopped. Not by Roaches or Ravagers. Yeah, all the Roaches are going down. Ashbringer continuing to move out. Lurker Den still on the way. And +3 is kicked in. Bear that in mind. These aren't just 6 Immortals. They're 6 Immortals with +3 attack. It's going to be a cancel there on that hatchery. And we can keep on pushing. Now again, Ashbringer doesn't really have too much more behind this. Like, no Disruptor production, no Sky Toss. But he doesn't need it. He only needs the Immortals. And of course, something to support, something to buffer. As we break on through, the Roach Warden is exposed. GG gets called, and Ashbringer will take game number 1. Oof. GG. A solid game 1 there. Almost playing anti-Demaga. Again, Demaga, he is known for his 3-base aggression. He is renowned for droning up to sub-70 workers, cutting workers, and just hammering down that R key, whether it's Ling Roach Ravager or just straight up Roach Ravager. This is what Demaga is known for. And this is the downside of having a reputation. The downside of having like a very stylistic play style is that players are aware of it and they can try to hard counter it. And initially, I'm pretty sure Ashbringer wanted to hit a +2 timing, but Demaga came to him, and Ashbringer, he was more than happy to just absorb these attacks with this mass Immortal army. Just go blow for blow here for Demaga, snowball out of control. And with that, Ashbringer does take a lead. And as he takes a lead, a big shout to Miguelito. Ah, papi. Gracias, gracias. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you've been having a good time as well. You've been focusing on some IRL commitments as of late. So good to see you, pal. Good to see you. Big shout to Vindicta, of course. Vindicta giving us a big raid. Thank you. Again, hope you had a good time. As we are still in the first round, the beginnings of the KSL. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkyone, we have the Teal Protoss player representing Team Starcom. It is Ashbringer, aka Asherbro's cousin. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Red Zerg representing Berserker Esports. It is Demaga. Feels weird casting Ashbringer without Asherbro with. I feel like they go hand in hand. Regardless, strong start so far here from Ashbringer, and Demaga's gonna have to try and take a different approach this time. Again, he's known for just cutting workers early and just massing up an army, a death ball of roaches, if you will. But that's not the only thing he can do. That's what's important. That's not the only thing he can do, and he shouldn't be doing that either on this map. It's honestly really difficult to break a 3-basing, even 4-basing player on Alkyone. In ZVP, we've seen so many Zerg players attempt and fail to go for these 3-base all-ins. And I'm afraid that we're going to see the same if Demaga tries that style for a second time. I'm hoping we try something different. I'm hoping. Catching with the chat. Hello, Tato Tutor Slowbro, coming first today. as always, welcome Slowbro. Frost, Babyling as well. Rowdy. I don't know this Ashbringer player. Ashbringer's been competing for a couple of years, but ooh, that's gonna be a kill in the probe. But I guess if you're not really tuning into many online weekly tournaments like OSC King of the Hill, or I mean OSC events in general, Sparkling Tuna Cup, then you may not be familiar with Ashbringer. Again, if you don't watch the online weeklies, pretty sure he's also active in ESL Open Cup EU, as well as WTL, at least in the qualifiers of WTL, representing Starcom, of course. Ashbringer, he's been an up-and-comer for a while, but has yet to really break into the upper echelons of the European scene. He's always kind of been in the middle of the pack. You know, I think of Ashbringer, I think of Exo Striker, for example. I think of Goblin, I think of even Shadown. Maybe Shadown would be slightly above some of these players, but like, you know, there's a lot of European Protoss. There's a lot of European Protoss players out there that are kind of, again, in the middle of the pack, looking to try and break out, looking to try and break into, you know, your top 5s, your top 10s even. And yeah, Ashbringer has been on that grind set for quite some time. Ling's going to be slipping on in. Again, a Hatchgas full standard opener out of Demaga, getting into his third base. Likewise, we have Ashbringer getting into his own gate expand as well. We have our tech of choice, and ooh, we are switching things up here. The Lings get shut down, but the Lings, they scatter the tech. This time, it's not a Twilight Council. This time, it is a Stargate. Here we go. Stargate opener here out of Ashbringer, going to be going Oracle first, which Demaga can assume is happening. He didn't see the first unit coming out, but Oracles are the standard, and Demaga should be just focusing on Queen production, droning, and making sure he's in position for whatever Ashbringer has ready to throw at him. $10 p.m. Ontario time. Or Ontario. Welcome. Always a big shout out to the... I know it's a bit of a better time here for North American players, or North American viewers, as opposed to the Europeans. Always good to see. Lings, they come in, they do delay the third base, they get a kill on that probe. Gonna be delaying it by a couple of seconds. Also keeping the Oracle back at home and forcing the activation of the Pulsar Beam. Not too bad. Not too bad damage done here from those Lings. As Ashbringer is just going to be building himself up, getting that third base up and running, and now that he has 2 Oracles, he should be pushing out across the map, looking for some economic damage. Back across the map, we have 2 Queens in the main and a Spore. We have a Spore at the natural with the Queen, and at the third base, we have 2 Queens, a Spore Crawler as well. So we're pretty well set up. Like, we have all the tools we need to deflect these Oracles. It's all about the positioning, it's all about the control. So we'll see if Demaga can minimize his losses behind this interesting double Oracle into Void Ray. Usually it's the other way around. Usually you go Void Ray first to shut down Scouting Overlords to keep your opponent in the dark. But yeah, this time it's going to be Void Ray afterwards, which is a little bit suspect. Oh, never mind. I was curious as to the purpose of this, but it looks like we're just going to be focusing on defense. The Lings, they do go for a big counterattack, but there are Adepts in position. Another probe goes down. Good target firing here from Demaga. Likewise, Ashbringer did kill 2 workers at the natural, but only 2 workers so far. These Oracles, they haven't paid for themselves yet. Not yet, but, you know, they can gain value over time. They still have a decent amount of HP left on them as they come back in looking for more drone kills. Meanwhile, our transition is going to be a Twilight Council on a Forge alongside a Robo. This is a pretty standard transition. This is looking like +1 and Blink. We could also get into +1 and Charge, but we'll see what we commit to as... Oh, that is going to be a Dark Shrine. That I was not expecting. Again, Ashbringer, he is more of an aggressive player as well. So going to be slipping into those DTs. There's Blink on the way, so it's going to be +1 Blink alongside Dark Templar. Meanwhile, Ashbringer tries to go for a scout. He sees saturation at the third, but he doesn't see the tech. He saw the lair, but it is for Hydras. I don't know if you noticed, but we did invest into Roach Warren, but this time a much faster Hydrogen. Demaga is joining up a little bit further. 4th base is on the way. Opposed to the previous game where Demaga cut workers at 66, which is 3-base saturation, Demaga, he's joining up much more this time. And he's taking up as well. So a very different playstyle, very different approach. Working towards a longer game, I imagine. We'll see if he does saturate this 4th. For now, a handful of Roaches are in production just to be safe, just to have an army. And Ashbringer, he's taking up even further, going for a Bay as well. Rodix Bay is on the way. This should lead into, yep, double gases and a second Robo for double Disruptor production or double Colossus production. Now, because Ashbringer is taking up so much, this is typically when the Zerg player needs to recognize this, realize what's going on, and tech up as well. Not just into Hydras, not just into Lurkers, but into Vipers as well, Hive tech. Vipers, they will shut down these kind of Robo-based compositions. But for the time being, Demaga is stuck on Lair tech. Lair tech Lurkers. It's a little bit weird to see a Lurker den without an Infestation Pit, so the Hive is going to be delayed. I appreciate the Lurker tech, don't get me wrong, like, this is good. But without the infestation bit, without the hive, it's still going to be difficult to kind of break an entrenched player. I mean, thankfully for Dimaga, we don't have a second robo, so we're only making one Colossus at a time. So Ashbringer, it's going to take a while for him to really build up. So Dimaga is still in a decent position. Meanwhile, fourth base was about to be taken. Dimaga does delay it for a couple of seconds, as it's now going to be thrown down again. Looks like there it is. Infestation bit is thrown down, so Dimaga is working towards that eventual hive tech. DT comes in for some harass, gets 2 drones. Only 2 workers. And we're looking for more damage again. We still haven't really seen the tech. Ashbringer doesn't know what's going on. Dips into the natural base. He's going to be committing. He does reveal. With the revelation, he gets eyes on the Hydras. He knows. And there it is. With the revelation, he also gets eyes on the morphing in hive as well. So he's aware of the potential for a Hydra Lurker Viper. He's fully aware lurkers are already on the way, and Dimaga going to be only joining up to 71. He doesn't saturate the 4th. He takes the gases, but he hasn't taken the minerals, which means Dimaga, he's pushing now. He is getting ready for his push. Now, upon seeing this, we can go one of 2 ways. I'm still shocked. I need to double check. Yeah, only 1 robo. Only 1 robo here for Ashbringer, despite getting up to 4 base saturation. I'm concerned, and here we go. Dimaga pushes in. Does get on top of the 4th base, and that's going to be a cancel on the Nexus, containing Ashbringer here to only 3 bases. You can see that Dimaga is patrolling on the right-hand side, just making sure that another base is not being taken. 3 workers going to be going down. Pylon as well. And Dimaga is going to back up. Behind this, Ashbringer, supply block, still stuck on 3 bases. He needs an expansion. This is another great way for Dimaga to make use of this army. Even though Dimaga, his tech is late, and his Vipers are a little bit later, his Lurker upgrades a little bit later, his Hive was later. But with this army, he's been able to accomplish a lot. And that is denying the 4th. And look at the creep. Oh my god, the creep is getting out of control. The creep actually touching tips here with the 4th base, or the would-be 4th base of Ashbringer. And all Dimaga has to do is deny the 4th base over and over again, contain his opponent to 3 bases, while taking up into that kind of late game composition of Hydras, Lurkers, and Vipers. And he's doing it. He's pulling it off. Ashbringer, he's slowly breaking free. Still trying to establish that 4th base. As he does, though, Dimaga can push in. And we're only up to 2 Colossi. No Disruptors. Like, against Lurkers, we need a higher Immortal count. Disruptors. Sky Toss. Either or, and we have none at the moment. We're still heavily reliant on a gateway-based army composition, which can definitely overwhelm the opponents, but oh god, we have so many Lurkers. Dimaga, I'm sure he wants to get rid of some of these roaches. The roaches are less than ideal in this army composition. Dimaga, he may be maxed out, but he does have a subpar army at the moment, just because there are just so many roaches involved. Here we go. Ashbringer is pushing in. Pretty threatening death ball of an army. 1 fight is all it takes. The Lurkers are exposed. 1, 2 Lurkers go down. Dimaga in a bit of trouble. Blinding clouds are thrown down. We do have a surround being set up as well. The Colossus get caught out, and both Colossus will fall. At the same time, we get on top of the Lurkers. Both players losing a lot here. 1 Lurker still alive, and it looks like the surround is real. It looks like Ashbringer should be losing his army. Comes in with some Zealot reinforcements, but again, the surround was too good. Only 1 Lurker survived, but 1 Lurker was enough. And with that, Ashbringer, he's lost his entire army. He doesn't have saturation at this 4th base. His Immortal count was reset, his Archon count, and his Colossus count as well. And he's only making 1 Colossi at a time. And from here, Dimaga is counterattacking. This was his moment. This was a scary moment for Dimaga. This was basically an all-in out of Ashbringer, and he didn't break his opponent. He didn't break the natural. And now Dimaga is getting out of control. The mass roach army. We just sniped the Overseer so we can maybe warp in some DTs. Big stasis trap even on some of these roaches. But we're trading well against these Stalkers. Behind this, the Nexus is going to be going down as well. Additional Lurkers are in production. And this is all that Demaga has to do, just deny the fourth over and over and over again. And as he does so, he's just building up his lurker count once again. There it is, lurkers are arriving, vipers are topped up, they survived from earlier on, which means we can yoink, we can abduct, and we do get the Colossus. GG gets called, and Demaga will tie up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. We are going to the ace match. We're going all the way. And again, that's really what I wanted out of all these players. Give us an ace match. Give us a back and forth. Again, here this game, Demaga doing a great job at taking a different approach, especially because it is Alcyone. It's more of a macro-oriented map. It makes sense for Demaga to join up a little bit further, to tech up, to get into a fourth base. Still very aggressive style out of Demaga, as he stayed on a pretty low worker count. Remember, he joined up to around 69, 70-ish. Just prioritizing his gases. And from there, he was able to hit a pretty strong timing there with his lurkers. Likewise, his opponent, I'm not entirely convinced by the army composition that Ashbringer found himself in. He was just supplementing his army with more Zealots and Gateway units instead of Immortals, instead of Archons, instead of Colossus. His army felt lacking. His army felt a lot lacking, especially compared to what we saw in Game 1. Like, Game 1, Ashbringer was much more in control and much more comfortable. Here in Game 2, it felt, yeah, it did feel a little bit lacking. Imagine coming first. Imagine. Oh. Ratty, what are you talking about? You always want to claim first. Ratty, you may never come first, but you want to. Este Ratty. Shaking my head, and here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura. We have the Ukrainian Zerg player representing Berserker Esports, tying up the series 1-1. It is Demaga. And in the top left, we have his opponent. We have the Teal Protoss representing Team StarCom, being forced into the ace match. It is Ashbringer. Touch it. Here we go. We're getting into this again, loading into Golden Aura, which is a very unique map in the map pool. I'm a little bit surprised to see it, but on Golden Aura, you can actually be a little bit greedier. You can cut some corners. Your third base setup is really heavily fortified. It's interesting. It's in a way a little bit similar to Alcyone, the map that we just saw, where your 3-base setup is, again, very difficult to break. We even saw Demaga, he didn't even try to push into the third base of Ashbringer last game. It would just be so difficult just pushing up that ramp, and so inefficient trying to fight your way up it as well. Similar thing here with Golden Aura, where these bases are very close together, they're very congested, likewise very narrow entry points into the third and into the natural. But the difference between these two maps is that on Golden Aura, the rush distance by ground is a lot shorter. So once you get the ball rolling, once you do get momentum, it's very difficult to stop, very difficult to hold on. And as a result, we can see more aggressive styles. They're a little bit more viable here compared to an Alcyone. Likewise, there's also the gold base. I don't think it's going to come into play here. Usually when we get the gold, it's like as a fifth, you know, we expand and take the third, then take the fourth, and then take the fifth base here as a Zerg. It's usually when it's taken. Very rarely do we see players try to rush into this gold just because it's so far away, and also because it's very common, especially in other matchups, to check the Zonaga, because the Zonaga does cover this gold, so it's just so difficult to really get away with. Not impossible, just difficult. As we are settling into our game, once again we have our tech of choice. Ashbringer going for a Stargate opener, once again. 2 games in a row. Now with this, we can of course get into oracles like we did previously, or we can get into something very different, like a Void Ray first, into even Sky Toss, or just Void Ray first into some kind of hidden tech as well. We'll see. We'll see what Ashbringer has in store. Ooh, and there it is. Void Ray first out of Ashbringer. You know, I kept talking about it, but I didn't actually think he would. He would. So yeah, interesting. So with this Void Ray, he's going to be hunting down the Overlords. He's going to be hunting down Overlords. That is going to keep whatever he throws down next hidden from Dimaga. So far this series, Dimaga has done a great job at going for these Link Scouts and getting a read on what kind of tech opener Ashbringer is going for. But Dimaga is going to be in the dark. From here, we can just play standard. We can go into an Oracle and a third base and just play it out. Or we could go for a much faster Twilight Council and go for something like Glaive Adepts. We could throw down a second Stargate and a Fleet Beacon and go into Sky Toss. There's a lot possible here, thanks to this Void Ray. We'll see what we go for. For now, Dimaga, he's just hunting, searching for that third base. Ooh, meanwhile, Ashbringer, he throws down a Twilight Council. Oh my god! Double Forge! Double Forge Twilight Council before the third base. No Oracles, by the way, so very interesting. We're going to be hitting a 1-1 timing. I imagine this is going to be Charged Out Archon. Usually that's what this benefits most, but I'm curious. If I mean, we should be taking a third. We should be expanding. Obviously, it's going to be a much later expansion, but it should be on the horizon here. We'll see. Show us what you got. Behind this, Dimaga, he's just saturating his bases. We do see a safety Roach Warren on the way. It's throwing down at around the 4-minute 30 mark, and oh, it's gonna be DTs! Oh my god. I assumed it would be like Charge and the Templar Archives, but no, we're going into a Dark Shrine instead, into a delayed third. Now, Dimaga, he's aware. Oh, as the Void Ray shows up, we get a drone. Dimaga, he's aware that the third base is late. Very much so aware, and that's why he went for a little bit of an earlier Roach Warren just to be safe. Gases are being taken, and Dimaga, he hasn't seen any move out yet, so he feels safe enough to drone. He may have thrown down a Roach Warren, but he hasn't been baited into making roaches. He sees a late third. Sees the wall. Oh, and Dimaga looking to spice things up. He's going for a Spire. 6 gases have been taken. A Spire is on the way. Revelation does not reveal the Spire. Gets eyes on... It's so close, though. Gets eyes on the lair, on the saturation. Doesn't see the tech, though. Just barely. Behind this, there's Charge on the way, so... This still feels like Charge or Archon, just a different way to get into Archons with these Dark Templar. We'll see if Ashbringer can get anything done with this. So far, not warping in any DTs. Gets eyes on the 4th. And who do I favor in this situation? I mean, 1-1 is about to finish up, but we don't have a Warp Prism. The Robo's still on the way. Ashbringer, I don't think he's pushing anytime soon. I think he's most likely going to have to wait until he gets out his Warp Prism. DTs are moving out. The mutas are going to hit first, is what I'm saying. The mutas are going to hit first. They're going to hit hard. There's no Blink Stalkers. There's no Phoenixes. There's no anti-air other than potentially Archons. But the Archons are moving out. The DTs are moving out. Oracle still hasn't seen anything. There it is. 11 mutas are in production. DT run by coming forward. We do have Spores in position. Do we have an Overseer? We do not. We have 1 Spore in each base. And the DTs are going straight for the Spore. Oh, they get us around. Yeah, Spore is going to go down. Oof. Overseer's on the way. We're going to be swiping away at that hatchery. The hatchery, it's going to fall. There's just so much DPS. It's barely going to go down. Overseer has arrived. And at the same time, here come the mutas. So we didn't really kill too many workers, but we killed a base. The workers, they can be transferred over towards the would-be 4th, though. And here come the mutas. We do get a revelation. Shield batteries on the way. Vanilla stalkers. I mean, I say vanilla. They're 1-1 stalkers. And the upgrades aren't too bad on them. Mutas, they dip in. They can one-shot probes. Oh, and they're getting a lot of probes. 6 workers go down. We rotate towards the 3rd base, and even more probes are going to fall as well. Again, we just cannot keep up. Ashbringer, he just doesn't have a maneuverable enough army. No Blink. No Phoenixes. No nothing. With that, Dimaga does take a massive economic lead. He's amassing a ground army, Lings, Roaches. Hasn't made any more mutas. He has 14 into... Oh, 14. That's a lot of mutas. But pushing up this ramp, again, is ill-advised. We spoke about it earlier, but your 3-base setup here is actually really heavily fortified. You have a ramp, it's very narrow. You have sentries for force fields. So Dimaga, he's going to be calming down and taking another base. Just like the previous game, it's all about the 4th. Like, once Ashbringer attempts to take a 4th base, that's when Dimaga can strike. Until then, he's just harassing with his mutas, and he's droning back at home. Or taking, I should say. I think he's done droning. Meanwhile, the mutas dip in towards the main. We have a second Stargate and a Fleet Beacon in production. Fleet Beacon's on the way for, I imagine, Anion Pulse Crystals, which is Phoenix range. Range for those Phoenixes. Meanwhile, Dimaga back at home getting into Hydras. For now, he's Lingbane Roach Ravager, but the Hydra Den's on the way. Soon to be Lurker Den. Gold base is being taken, we mentioned before, but this gold is usually taken as the 5th, and there we have a 4th and 5th and 6th at the same time. Double expanding. Dimaga is about to max out. And Ashbringer, he's stuck at home. Just like the previous game, basically, Ashbringer, he's going to be turtling and building up a death ball of an army. And we saw in the last game that he did break through the line of lurkers, and he almost reset the lurker count. It went down to 1. Unfortunately, Ashbringer didn't have enough to kill Dimaga then and there. This time we need to do better. We need to have enough here to push through. So far, we have a couple of Immortals. We have a couple of Archons that are on the way as well. 4th base is being taken. Dimaga comes in. And at the same time, he's going to be pushing towards the 3rd. Stasis Trap goes off, but the Banelings, they're getting into the middle line. Oh, Biles, they do not connect, but the Banelings do. We get 14 probes. The massive Stasis Traps, and Ashbringer, he's going to clean up the army. He lost his economy, but mate, we're going. We're pushing. We're stuck. We're trying to, but getting a little bit stuck there. We clean up the rest of the Roach Ravager. And again, was this worth it for Dimaga? He crippled the economy, but he lost so much of his army. He's vulnerable at the moment. But the longer this goes on, the better it is for Dimaga. Dimaga is building up more Roaches, Ravagers, Hydras, Banelings. As time goes on, Dimaga is recovering. Ashbringer, we gotta go. At the same time, a Link counterattack sees the lack of 4th base. Banelings are rolling in. Good connections on those Zealots. Yeah, the Queens are coming into the fray. We're getting ready for a surround as well. Is it enough though? I mean, there are no Zealots left. There's only a handful of them. Oh, we piled down the Void Ray. The Immortals are putting in a lot of work, but there's only 2 Immortals. Unlike game number 1 where we had 6 Immortals, this time there's only 2. Zealots are being morphed in. Again, Ashbringer, he's completely all in. Takes a while to the face. The Zealots are getting a lot of work done. The boys have to be pulled. Oh my god. Ashbringer, he's so close to breaking Dimaga here and now, but here come the reinforcements. Here come some more Roaches. The drones all go down, but we're getting on top of the Immortals. Desperately trying to focus them down. Ooh, and both will fall. Dimaga barely holds on, lost 20 drones in the process. If he didn't pull those workers, he would have lost his Hydras. He would have lost the backbone of his army, and Ashbringer, he could have been able to pull that off. But alas, Dimaga does survive. Behind this, no Hive, no Infestation Pit, no Lurker Den, so it's still just a Hydra Roach army. Roach Hydra even. Gold base is well underway. So Dimaga may not have the most efficient army, and maybe a bit of a mid-tier army, but it's all he needs. Again, he doesn't have to worry about Immortals, not anymore. It looks like Dimaga has done it here. We're going to try and defend on 3 bases. We have probed up a little bit more, saturated our 3rd. Dark Templar on the way. There is no detection, so DTs could actually trade a little bit here. Hopefully they don't engage with the Banelings, thankfully. War Prism gonna try and harass, does get eyes on the gold. Dark Templar are waddling out. No detection here, so we could, again, force Dimaga back home. We want a base. We want a mineral line. There's no drones. Where are the drones? No! DT does go down. And again, it's an uphill battle here for Ashbringer. Meanwhile, Dimaga is remaxing. Still no Hive Tech. So still no 3-3 or Adrenal or Vipers, but, I mean, again, that doesn't really need it. So we're at least getting some drones here towards the bottom left. Force back the army. But here we go. Dimaga about to... These DTs are so annoying! Forcing Novus here to respond, but here we go, Dimaga. He can focus on his push. That's a lot of sentries. And a lot of force fields. We're going to try and cut up the army, but we have plenty of Ravagers to deal with these force fields as well. The Baileys, they roll in! They roll in, they crash into the Zealots. A lot of Zealots stuck here on the left-hand side as well. Oof. Again, it's brutal trying to push up this ramp, but once again, we get into the mineral line. Oh, we're getting there. 7 workers fall. Ashbringer, he's going to force us back. Good force fields. Oh my god. Trapping the army, catches a lot of Ravagers, and Ashbringer cleans this up. Oh, not without losing the base though. And again, as we've seen twice now, like Dimaga, whenever he tries to push up this ramp, like into this third, it's always a brutal trade for him. Like he always trades inefficiently, but he kills the third. And Dimaga still maintains an economic lead, and he doesn't trigger a counterattack. Like we gotta go. Like we gotta push. As time goes on, Dimaga is remaxing. More roaches, more Bailings on the way. He's rebuilding. Ashbringer, he's on a timer. We gotta make this work now. As he's essentially on a 2-base economy. Long distance mining from his third. He is all in once again. Or he's been all in for quite some time. But there's just too much Zerg, and Ashbringer is getting swallowed up. The Ling Bane surrounds everything. The roaches come into support, and we don't even waste the Bailings here on the Immortals. And with that, GG, well played. Dimaga will take the series at 2-1, eliminating Ashbringer. GG. Ashbringer may bow out, but wasn't a bad series. Wasn't a bad series whatsoever. Oh, just here on Golden Aura, the Mutas did a lot for themselves. They were able to wreak havoc, contain his opponent, get economic damage done, and give Dimaga the breathing room he needed to build himself up, get the gold base, and get away with quite a lot, actually. Oh, GG. GG, well played. And with that, we are going to be looking for some... We're going to be trying to catch up here with the rest of the bracket because there have been a lot of updates. Here we go. Exclamation mark B. B in the chat to have a look at the bracket yourselves because we are going to be following Dimaga into his next series, into the quarterfinals. From the top, Dimaga 2-0'd Ashbringer. Going to be facing off against Hero in the quarterfinals. One of the best, if not the best, Protoss player in Korea. Best Protoss. Below them, we have Firefly 2-0'ing Spiffy B. We have Firefly versus Classic, but Classic has already won that PvP. That was a quick series. And Classic is advancing on to the semifinals, waiting for either Hero or Dimaga in the next round. Oh, one moment. I should find the players, actually. I blindly went to the NA server, but I don't know if they're going to be playing on NA. Dimaga may have decent ping to EU. Trying to catch up, trying to keep up. But yeah, we have Classic waiting for the winner of that series. Meanwhile, we have the lower portion of the bracket. We have Miyamika taking down Trigger. Sorry. I saw TRI. Triple, not Trigger. Miyamika takes down Triple 2-1, advancing on to face off against Dark in a ZVZ. Likewise, Cyan 2-0'd Buck Starshot. So we have all of the first round finishing up. We have the second round underway with Hero versus Damaga, which is our series. We have Dark versus Miyamaika in a ZVZ, and Oliveira versus Cyan in a TVP. So a bit of a smaller bracket here this time. We're missing a lot of the Korean Terrans. Kyo is missing. Byeon never shows up for these. It's too early for Byeon, unfortunately. But Kyo isn't here. Gumiho isn't here. But again, they do typically sleep in on Saturdays. So yeah, not the first time that the Terran players have eluded us. Instead, it's going to be about the Zergs and the Protoss. And Oliveira as well, to be fair. Oliveira is going to be waving that Terran flag. That Terran flag. Quite a Terran flag at that. And part of me, of course, would love to cast some Miyamaika, but we have our series. We have our players. We're following them. Just messaging them and letting them know so we don't get left behind. Beautiful. And we can take this moment to catch up with the chat as well. Catch up. We are going to be catching up, and yeah, again, so far we're just waiting for our vetoes to get underway between Hero and Damaga. When it comes to the semifinals, they're gonna be so good. Like the potential Dark versus Oliveira, the potential Classic versus Hero as well. It's gonna be amazing. And again, if you want to tune into some of the other matches that are currently going on, I believe Chicken Man and Dave Testa are also live. I don't know what they're covering. I don't know where they are. But they're out there somewhere. Casting some matches. I'm sure good StarCraft is going on. It looks like our players, they need a little bit of time though. They need a little bit of time to get their vetoes underway, so we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we have our series. We have our next series, so yeah, don't go anywhere. Take this moment to stretch your roaches. Hydrate Hydras. Oh, never mind. We're good. Massage your Marines. Drain your Disruptors. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Take care. Posture check. As we're getting into our next series, it looks like the vetoes have completed. And game 1 is going to be on Solaris. Oh, wait, no. They need a break. Okay. Game 1 is on Solaris. They do need a small break, though. So we're more than willing to accommodate. So, again, going into a short break. We'll see you guys in a couple of minutes before game 1. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, hope you took a moment there to get some water, get some snacks, and get ready for the rest of KSL, because we are here with the quarterfinals, and we're following our Zerg player into his next matchup. And here is his opponent in the top right-hand corner of Solaris. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing CranKy Gaming. It is Hero. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Ukrainian Zerg, representing Berserker Esports. It is Dimaga. We go again. Dimaga just took down Ashbringer in a 2-1 score. Did go all the way to the ace match. And we have seen Dimaga go toe-to-toe with Hero in the past during WTL, but I'm sure a big reason for that is because of, again, the lack of knowledge of his opponent, and Hero not necessarily aware that Dimaga thrives as hard as he does in the mid-game. Again, that's what's impressive about him. Dimaga's playstyle, he can go toe-to-toe with the best players in the world. If his opponent is playing standard, and if Dimaga is able to get into a three-base economy undisturbed and untouched, then, yeah, Dimaga, he can just snowball. Go toe-to-toe with the best of them, but we'll see if he can get there. We'll see if he can make it there, because Hero is known for his early game aggression. He's known for his Adept harass, his Oracle harass as well. Hero, he can pull you apart and make it look easy. So again, we'll see if Dimaga can keep up with the blows here of Hero. For now, standard openers. Gate expanded to Cybercore from Hero. Likewise, a hatch gas pull out of Dimaga. Forced to take the unnatural natural, so going to be a little bit more difficult, or a little bit more awkward to defend. Oh my. As Hero's being as annoying as possible, he wants that drone. Takes quite a bit of hull damage, though. He should be respecting the mineral line and should be respecting that drone. Yeah, Probe is going to get the hell out of there. Lings are on the way. Queens as well. Again, we're just getting into the early game. And really my eyes are on Hero here to see his tech of choice. His pylon is next to his main base, next to his main mineral line, which is interesting. It's not as far out as we otherwise usually would see for a Stargate, and now we see why. Again, if it's a Stargate opener, usually the pylon is a little bit more further out just to reduce the time it takes for the Oracle to get across the map to get economic damage done. If the pylon is further back, Twilight Council opener makes a lot of sense. There it is from Hero. Now, Hero, he has been really enjoying Glaive Adept variations recently. I think it was 2 weeks ago in KSL. KSL and ESL Open Cup Asia. We saw Hero, Glaive Adept, Dark, DRG, and Solar all to death. It was crazy. He went through literally all 3 top Zerg players in Korea. I think the only player he didn't face off against was Shin. So Shin kind of escaped Hero's wrath. But there it is. Glaives are on the way. And what kind of variation are we going to be seeing here? Okay, so interesting choice. We do have a bit of a gateway explosion. This is a more macro-oriented Glaive Adept variation here. Glaive Adept build from Hero. What I mean by that is, oh, never mind. I was assuming that we were going to do this without the Robo. For now, we have 3 gateways here at the natural. We don't have a 4th gateway in the main. With 3 gateways, we should be working towards a faster 3rd. We'll see if a War Prism is going to be joining these Adepts, or if we move out without the Prism. Now Adepts are going to be threatening that main base. Oh, we don't quite commit. We do fake Dimaga out, though. Again, overreacting a little bit. Meanwhile, behind this, there's, again, only 3 gateways here from Hero. This does mean that the transition is going to be that much faster into the 3rd, or into the higher form of tech. Speaking of 3rd base, we should soon be seeing one. Adepts are moving out. Oh, and we're going for a Dark Shrine follow-up. Okay. I was curious. We have the War Prism alongside DTs on the way. Gases have been... We have pulled back into gas. See, Adepts, they are going to be hitting this 3rd. They commit to the shade. They dive into the main base. Lings are waiting for them. But not too many Lings. And the drones are exposed. Not quite going for the mineral line. Keeping up with the Lings instead. As the Adepts, they will shade away. But bearing in mind, because of the lower gateway count, because of the delayed War Prism, there's only a handful of Adepts. There isn't like a massive wave of them coming in. which is why I assumed we would be transitioning, and we are, but we're not transitioning economically. We're getting into Immortal production. We're doubling down on aggression. Drones are falling here in the main base. 5 drones go down, and here come the DTs. They're right upon us. There's no Spore. No Spore at the third. No Spore at the natural. No Spore in the main. 0 detection. Ay. Not like this. 8 workers are fallen. We're going for a big counterattack. Oh my god, Dimaga going for a massive Link Ravager all in. So Dimaga, he may not have detection. He may be losing everything back at home to these DTs, but he's going for the kill. But there are defensive DTs as well. The Dark Templar, they reveal themselves, and GG gets called. There's nothing that Dimaga can do, and Hero will take game number 1. GG. But this was so interesting. Okay, so I'm always excited when we see like new builds. This was 3-gate Glaive Adepts. We stayed in gas, and again, I assumed that we would maybe like double down on Immortal production or go for a faster Robotics Bay. We stayed in gas. We went for instead we went for a Dark Shrine leading into a 2-base all-in, because behind that there was an Immortal. There were Immortals on the way, and 3 more gateways. That was gonna be a 2-base 6-gate all-in from Hero. He didn't get there. He didn't get a chance to actually get into his 2-base all-in. He was able to win it all there with those DTs instead. Unfortunate that Dimaga didn't have any detection. Also unfortunate that Dimaga went into his own all-in, where he was just rushing out with Ravagers and Lings, and likewise didn't have detection out on the map either. GG. GG, well played, Hero. He does take game number 1. But we'll see if his opponent can fight back and force the ace matches. Here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Hard Lead, we have the South Korean Protoss, the red Protoss, representing CranKy Z Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is Hero. And oh my god, spawning in the top left, going for a 15-15. We have the Ukrainian Zerg, representing Berserker Esports, down in the series, looking to fight back. It is Dimaga. Okay, this is what looks to be a gasless opener here from our Zerg. It should be 15 hatch, into an extractor trick, into a 15 spawning pool, into delayed gases, but we'll see if Dimaga does head in that direction. Oh, as he's making an Overlord. Okay. There's that 15 spawning pool, soon to be thrown down. Back at home, Hero. I mean, Hero, he does come in, he scouts, he confirms. He sees the earlier hatchery, he sees the lack of gas. And we'll get eyes on the spawning pool next as well. Oh, no, never mind. Okay. We do go for the gas geyser alongside the spawning pool, so we're not going to be delaying our gases for too much longer here. Dimaga at least. As the probe does confirm that. Very important. Probe just going to be dancing here with these drones. Trying to be as annoying as possible. Oh my god. Get out of here. Trying to be as annoying as possible. Very delicate dance with that probe. Oh! Gets another hit in. Gets 2. Behind this, of course, gate expand. Alongside that cyber core as well. Standard openers here from Hero, likewise. Dimaga, oh, barely keeping that drone alive. Hero, he wants it. I mean, he knows that, again, there's nothing really threatening the probe yet. He is going to back off from here. Ling speed on the way. We pull out of gas immediately, so we're not going for a Roach Rush or a Bane Bust or anything crazy like that. Just getting into our openers. Settling into this. Really, I'm curious what kind of tech we're going to see. I was about to say that I wouldn't be surprised if we see Glaives again. Like, it does feel like, based on what we've seen these past couple of weeks from Hero, it feels like he has been very experimental with Twilight Council openers and Twilight Council follow-ups. We've seen a lot of really aggressive Glaive styles, not even just against like perceived to be lesser players, but again against like Dark, against Solar, against DRG, against everyone essentially. And Hero has been finding a lot of success. There it is, Twilight. Oh my god, the proxy pilot on the way, not like this. Twilight Council's done. Once again, we have a 3-gate setup here from Hero. Very interesting. We are pulling out of gas, so for now it looks like we're not going to be throwing down a Dark Shrine. If we pull back into gas, that is going to be a big sign of DTs. As that Eps a shade into the main base to get a couple of workers, and that's a proxy gateway in the face of his opponent. Oh my god. We don't need a robo with this, and we have pulled back into gas, so it's going to be 4-gate glaives, but now that we've pulled back into gas, we should be seeing something else, and there it is. Dark Shrine. I mentioned before, like, if we see our Protoss player pull back into gas, that is indicative of potentially Dark Templar, and there it is. I just wasn't expecting it to be proxied as well. Hero, he's enjoying himself. Let's go. Now, this has been spotted by Dimaga. He's aware of the proxy. Roach Warren's on the way. Lings are coming out. And what's important is that he sees the Dark Shrine. This time, because the Dark Shrine is proxied, which again, I think is a little bit bold, because it's been seen, we can prepare. We can throw down spores. Like, Dimaga this time is fully aware of what is coming his way. If the Dark Shrine was thrown down back at home, then that wouldn't be possible. But the Adepts, they have arrived. They're already doing so much damage to that third base. We go straight into the natural as well. The Lings, they're getting annihilated. The Queens as well. This is hitting so much faster. We don't need the robot. We don't need to walk across the map. GG gets called. It's just too much. And Hero will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. Again, because of the proxy, because we didn't need the robo, or we didn't need to walk across the map, this hit that much faster, and Dimaga just was not ready in time, did not have his roaches out in time. It wasn't a bad timing for his roach warren. It was around like 3-minute 40, 3-minute 30 that he threw down the roach warren. I want to say 3-minute 40. And roaches were on the way, but just not out in time. Didn't have enough lings either, and yeah, things just snowballed out of control. GG, well played. Hero does advance on to those semifinals, where he has his next opponent. Switching our scenes over. Again, it is going to be Hero versus Classic. Meanwhile, we just got another update. Dark did just 2-0 Miyamika. Dark is waiting in the lower semifinals for either Oliveira or Cyan. But I think that just finished. Oh, yeah, the bracket hasn't been updated, but it looks like Oliveira and Cyan have completed, and I think we may have a winner yet to be determined. Actually, oh no, my mistake. Enki is casting Oliveira versus Cyan. Enki is of course a Spanish caster, so he's covering that series. So that is still ongoing, which means we have our upper semis, and depending on how fast this PvP is, we may also be able to cast the lower semifinals on this channel as well. We could end up casting both, depending on the speed. Here we go. As we do just set up the players and set up the teams. Just need one moment. But yeah, PvPs between Hero and Classic are always so much fun as well. They're both very aggressive players, and they pop off really early on. We typically don't see the mid game, let alone the late game, between these two. So I'm ready for the aggression. I'm ready for the nonsense. I'm ready for the reason why I love PvP. I love casting PvP is maybe a better way to put it. So yeah, players are just currently conducting their vetoes, and once they're done, we should be diving into those upper semifinals. We're nearing the end of the broadcast. We have the upper semis, then the lower semis, and then the grand finals. So at most 3 series, potentially 2 series, depending on how fast or how slow things are. So yeah, only a couple of matches left, only a couple of players left as well. Oh, and because we're in the semifinals, predictions will soon be open. If you're in the chat, you will be able to place your bets on how you think this series will progress, whether it goes one way or the other. So I will be getting that ready. Semifinals. Classic versus Hero. Okay, so once again, we're going to be going on. Yeah, I guess we. there's not much. There's not many updates to really go over, so we're going to be going on a short break. Going to be going on a very short break. Should only be a couple of minutes, and once we return, once we are done with that break, we will be getting into this upper semifinals, and predictions will be open for it as well. So look forward to it. Again, take this moment, get some water, go to the bathroom, get some snacks in that order? ? And we'll see you soon. See you soon. Enjoy the duct tapes, Papi. Enjoy. And again, for those wondering who may be tuning in for the first time and aren't too familiar with these players, Shelby, he is a pretty good Peruvian player. He's a streamer as well. He's streaming his POV.
Dios mío, Dios mío, Dios mío. Men, ¿qué me quiere pushar con 4 Belin, 3 mutas? ¡Corre, Forest! No lo dejen ir. ¡Ah! ¡No! ¡Oh! ¡Te pasaste de ver!
But he also looks after the convenience store when his parents aren't around. So he's currently competing, playing, and also looking after the store, and he needs to pause whenever there's a customer.
What I want to know is how far does he have to go? You know, like, is it like downstairs,
so,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I think it's a flight of stairs. He has to get down the flight of stairs.
you're like a customer. You're like in the, waiting. You know, ding, and then you're. He's like straight up running down.
every now and then, it's like you hear him fall.
Waiting for him to like trip and fall. But I agree. He needs to like set up a camera like at the counter.
Yep.
Yeah, just like. And then he runs back. Does he like wait for the customer to leave, or is like after he does the money exchange, he just books it up?
For those wondering, I did wake up like 20 minutes before the broadcast, and then took 10 minutes to set up the stream, and then just went and I quickly grabbed some water to wake up.
Do I need to like Uber Eats you some breakfast?
Oh no, because then I would have to leave the cast and go get the food.
Your door's not that far, right? Like, listen, if
Yaku?
If Shelby can go attend his goddamn store while he plays the tournament, you can probably go pick up some food at your front door.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for rudely interrupting that duct tape, duct tape even. But we are here with our first semifinals match, and if you're in the chat, predictions are going to be open for the next 2 minutes. For 2 minutes of your time, you can place your bets. Until then, they're going to be closed until the end of the series, so get your bets in, get your predictions in as we dive into this PvP. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Hard Lead, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing CranKy Z Gaming. It is Hero. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the other South Korean Protoss player representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. Here we go again. The best of the best. You don't get better than this when it comes to the Korean Protoss players. I know there are some hardcore like creator fans out there, or some niche hipster Nightmare fans that are like, what about Nightmare? What about Creator? What about him, right? Wait, Hero and Classic, both ex-military. Fun fact, they both came back at the same time. They both completed the military service, came back to StarCraft within a month of each other, or even in the same tournament. And they have kind of reached the upper echelons of Protoss play in Korea. But there is a bit of a gap here, and the reality is that Hero has been achieving more success and gaining more notoriety than Classic. I mean, Hero, he spiked first. Hero was the first to really spike. He was the player who really did dictate the meta for an entire year, even more of StarCraft, with the Hero style of play, going triple Oracle into Blink and +1, after the Void Ray meta, Hero kind of, led the path for Protoss players all around the world. And it was a couple of months later, it was more at the start of this year, I think I would say. At the start of this year is when Classic started to really rise up and really pop off. Classic was able to, keep up with his opponents, had a good performance in offline events like Gamers 8, for example. I think Classic even had a better performance than Hero in Gamers 8 and DreamHack Yongshaping, if I'm not mistaken. I think Hero failed to get out of the open bracket of DreamHack, and Classic was able to have a deeper run. So on paper, in these international events, Classic has been doing better. And how are we gonna get into this? We have a gate expand set up here from Hero. He was pylon blocked and he's going for the unnatural natural, because why the hell not? Okay, we have seen Hero do this before. Not the first time that we've seen this. It was a double gas opener as well, so a faster Stargate before expansion across the map, 2-gate opener out of Classic. So Classic, he has the potential to go for a 1-base all-in, and he's doing so. That's a proxy pylon. Twilight Council's on the way. I mentioned before, at the start of this, before the break, that hey, usually when Classic and Hero clash, it's a very short series. I stand by that, and we see that here and now. Classic is going for a 1-base all-in, and Hero is going for an economic opener. And Hero, his natural is so exposed, I don't know how he holds on to it. Not this natural, but this natural. For now, though, Classic's in the dark. He doesn't see, he doesn't know. His pylon just now going to go down. Stalker's shipping away. A bit of an overextension here from Hero, taking a lot of hits. But he does retreat to the safety of the shield battery. The other dangerous thing, because there's no Nexus, no overcharge. Overcharge not available. One Stalker goes down. Classic is breaking in. He breaks through. He's pushing this back. We do have some reinforcements on the way, but alas, we are outnumbered. Classic, he's just bullying Hero back. Hero trying to buy some time, dragging the army out of position. Void Rays on the way. Again, Hero, he doesn't have Warp Gate. And Classic is reinforcing. Hero, he pulls back to his Nexus and another shield battery. Classic, he has seen it. Oh, he takes a lot of hits. Once again, Hero overextends. Overcharge is popped. Hero, he's going to be able to hold on, but again, he wastes his overcharge really early on. Oracle gets across the map. We get a stasis trap in the main. It's okay, but it's not ideal. We need more. That's going to be a second gateway. Additional Void Ray in production. Looking at the unit side, Classic, he has 7 Stalkers, soon to be 8 Stalkers. Hero has to try to hold on with the Void Ray. Void Ray goes down. Again, we don't have shield batteries here. We don't have the overcharge. Like, it's just such a disjointed defense here from Hero. As he does pull back. And again, Classic looking to knock down that front door. He's going to be diverting his attention towards the natural, so that's going to be buying some time. Hero going to be engaging. The Void Ray once again is going to fall. We're just losing them one after the other. Hero just unable to really build up his overall Void Ray count. Stalker counts are evening up, actually. Oh my god. Hero. The Stalker counts do even up for a moment, but we have reinforcements on the way, and Blink is finishing up in now. Blink is done. Classic, he does have that upgrade over his opponent. Trying to zone Hero away. Oh, Classic does lose the Stalker though. Where are the Blinks? There we go. Just now going to be blinking the hell out of there. Hero does trade a little bit more efficiently, which is surprising considering he does not blink. Additional reinforcements are on the way. Where is that backup Void Ray? We need it. Hero, he doesn't have the economy, he doesn't have the gas. Just heavily reliant on pure Stalkers. Looking at the unit tab here, we have 9 Stalkers against 8 of Classic, but Classic, he has blink. He can micro, he can control. So far, good control from both players. Hero trying to pull back, but he's losing Stalkers. Oh my god. Despite that, Hero outtrades Classic. They were even in Stalkers for the most part, and Hero without blink. Oh my lord, are we overextending though? He's losing Stalkers. Oh, he's getting surrounded. We have reinforcements coming in. Hero, he is able to shut this down. How? Oh my god. GG Hero with vanilla Stalkers. The fight was, Hero had 9 and Classic had 8 Stalkers. So Classic was down a Stalker, but up with blink. And Hero was able to outtrade him. Oh my god. That's crazy. That's actually, that should be illegal. That should not be happening. The hell? Oh my god. GG, well played. Hero does end up shutting down the proxy, shutting down the all-in, does survive, And Hero takes a lead in the series. Oh my god, I can't believe. It was really impressive. Like, I don't know if you saw, but Hero, like, he was being very meticulous with his control. He was, as soon as he was taking damage on his stalkers, he was pulling back, keeping these like low red health stalkers alive to help add some DPS. And Classic, he was fumbling the ball a little bit. You know, his blinks were lacking, and yeah, GG. GG, well played. And here we go, we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Alkione, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Dragon Kaizi Gaming. It is Hero. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Twisted Minds, down in the series but not out. It is Classic. And Hero, once again, is going for the gate expand. So, if you've been watching Hero's games for the past 2 weeks, I want to say 2 weeks, maybe 3, maybe just under 3 weeks, you would have noticed, and we pointed this out before, a couple of KSLs ago, Hero and Nightmare as well have been doing this. They've been adopting the MaxFax way of opening up. Gate expands. Historically, for many years, MaxFax was the only player that would do this, that would go for a gate expand on the low ground, even if there isn't a natural, but even if there isn't a ramp leading into the natural. But Hero and Nightmare, as of very recently, they have been doing this more frequently in PvP. Oh, and so is Classic. Let's go! Basically what I'm getting at, by pointing out Hero and Nightmare, and now even Classic, the Korean Protosses, they have been adopting the MaxFax. They've been like taking notes, and they've been now playing like MaxFax. They've been opening like him, I should say. I haven't seen that be the case for like the European Protosses, like Skillus and all the mid-tier Protosses, like, you know, your Goblins and Shadowns and DNSs and Showtimes. I mean, say mid-tier. Everyone else, obviously Showtime, of course, one of the stronger ones, top 2. But yeah, like, they have yet to really try to play or try to emulate MaxFax. Meanwhile, the Korean scene has been. Again, it's a recent change, a recent shift in the meta is maybe a better way to put it. Here we go. Even on smaller maps, not just on maps like Alkione, where the rush distance by ground is long, so it's a little bit safer to do this, but even on maps like Golden Aura and Hard Lead, it's really cool to see. I mean, we just saw it on Hard Lead. We just saw Hero do it. So we do have double gas to begin with, so it's going to be a Gate, Cyber, then the expansion. Oh, sorry, Gate, Stargate, then the expansion. So Stargate before expansion, just to be safe. MaxFax does this as well, just so we can get into Void Race. Void Race to defend. Behind this, Classic, ooh, he does delay his expansion as well, going for a Twilight Council. Here we go. EU plays a more conservative there. They still 2-gate. Yeah, that's if I didn't make it clear, that's kind of what I was saying. That the European players are still haven't adopted and haven't, you know, gone for that MaxFax style. Meanwhile, the Koreans have. And here we go. Classic going for another one base all in. He's hiding it. He's masking it as if he's going for an expansion. Hero waddling in with his Zealot does confirm the lack of base. And here we go, one base all in from Classic. This time Hero has a much stronger defensive setup because he has one attack path and an overcharge. He has a Nexus here, which means there's going to be an overcharge available here at the shield battery. He can focus on one point here, one angle of attack. Of course, with Blink, Classic could potentially, was that one Zealot gets into the main. That's a lot of lost mining time. Oh my god. It's still alive. 3 probe kills. We're going to get a 4th. 3 worker kills and so much lost mining time. A big blow to the economy again. Classic, he's one base. He doesn't really have much of an economy to begin with. Now, if Classic does warp in a sentry, he can always try to blink into the main and bypass his defensive setup. But for the most part, Classic, he is forced to engage here. Here and now. We have a second shield battery, cannon on the way. We'll see if Classic can pull this off. Showtime goes Phoenix Wars all the time. Well, that's a different dynamic. But yeah, Showtime arguably has better at Phoenix v Phoenix than MaxFax in their specific PvPs. But here we go. As the gateway is exposed, gateway should be going down. Do we have a backup gateway? We do not. Also, only Void Race to defend. Can Hero pull this off? We have a robot behind this to get into Immortal production. How many Stalkers? We're up to 10 Stalkers here for Classic. And here he has to be very careful with his control. Oh! Forcing out the blink. Getting a volley up on the Cybercore. Adepts are going to be threatening a shade into the main base. Oh, blink into the main as well! We have high ground. We have high ground vision. We dive into the main base. Hero out of position. Boys are being pulled. Shield battery barely does survive. We force the prismatic alignment. Oh my god. Hero loses one of his Void Rays. Ends up trading out. Stalker for a Void Ray. Adept as well. We shade once again. We can go for the same move. Hero, the wall is not a wall. We blink into the main. Void Rays, the overcharge, barely keeping them alive, but another Void Ray gets caught out. And it looks like this may just be too much. We only have one Void Ray remaining, soon to be none. The overcharge does keep it alive a little bit longer though. Oh my god. The Void Ray refuses to die. We do force this back. We do have an Immortal as well. With the help of this Immortal, we can hold on a little bit longer. Oof. As we dive on it. Yeah, we have reinforcements on the way. Boys are being pulled. The Immortal's going to go down. Classic is losing quite a lot of Stalkers in the process, though. He's down to 3. But we don't have an army. We don't have an army left for Hero. There's nothing left. Probes are going down, and it looks like Classic has done it. He has broken his opponent. Hero having a really hard time bouncing between the main and the natural. GG gets called, and we have an ace match. Let's go. GG, well played again. The dive into the main pulled Hero apart completely. His Void Rays were exposed multiple times. And with that, we have a game 3. We're going the distance. We are going the distance here. And up next, we have Hecate. Another large map. Another large map is available here. And I wonder, is Hero going to go for the gate expand again, and is Classic going to try to all-in? We've seen Classic succeed and also fail here in the all-ins. But now he has momentum. He has momentum in this series. Likewise, Hero. Does he back off? Does he go for a bit of a safer opener, going for 2-gate instead? Surviving the early game. We'll see. We shall see. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hecate, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Hero. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss. Ooh, going for a gate expand setup. It is Classic. So just like the last game on Alkyone, we have a gate expand here on the low ground. Likewise, the beginnings of a gate expand for Hero as well. Now, just because we have the setup doesn't mean it's going to be an expansion. As we saw last game, Classic went all in anyway. So we could see that again. As for the time being, both players are mirroring each other. Are mirroring each other. Probes are moving out to scout across the map. And we'll see how they respond, how they react. They should be looking to delay each other's expansions with pylon blocks. We do have a 2-gate opener out of Classic. Only 1 gateway here from Hero, so Hero, he wants the expansion. And Classic is going to delay him.
Your probes are under attack.
There we go. Second gas now being taken. This tells me that Classic can go for a faster Stargate. Means that Hero is still working in that direction. And so far, everything is looking pretty economic. So far, there's no proxy pylons. It looks like both players, they want to expand. It looks that way. As we should be seeing those eventual Stargates thrown down as well. Pylon is done in the main. Both players trying to get a read on each other. There's that pylon thrown down for Classic. Zealot gets forced out. There's the Stargate from Hero, and we should be seeing something similar from Classic as well. Now, if Classic throws down a Stargate, then we could end up in Phoenix versus Phoenix. We could end up in Phoenix Wars. But no, he goes for a Twilight Council instead. Okay. Are we not expanding? Hero, he dips in, and he does confirm the Twilight Council. He's aware of the Blink Opener. And there's a Proxy Pylon. Classic, 3 games in a row. 1 base all in. Show me the gateway. We're waiting for it. Adepts are moving out. Up, up. Gateway gets thrown down. Let's go. We are going to be doubling down here. Adept's going to be shading out. Going to be confirming the lack of expansion. Ooh, even getting into the mineral line. Probes are going to go down. At least 1 worker. Lost mining time as well. Adept shades back into the natural base. And the Hero needs to prepare. Oh, he's going Oracle first. Uh-oh. A bold move. Shield batteries on the way again. A Classic, he already saw the Stargate opener. He knows about the Oracle. This Oracle has a lot of work to do if it wants to pay for itself. Void Ray is on the way back at home. Shield battery is done. Once again, Hero is the defender, and Classic is the aggressor. Oracle gets into the mineral line. Shield battery finishes up, and Classic is safe. He does hold. The Oracle hasn't done anything yet, but it's still alive. We can always go back in. We can always go for a stasis trap in the mineral line. And is that what we're going for? It is! The Classic, he reacts just in time. Only 1 probe gets caught. And here we go. Classic is committed. We have 7 Stalkers for Classic. Hero has to be very careful. Second shield batteries on the way. Second gateway as well to warp in 2 units at a time. Hero, he's going to be a lot more reliant on additional Stalkers. And just like last time, we need a shield battery set up in the main. Sentry. Hallucination. Classic is going to have access to Hallucination. He's going to go into the main once again. He's planning to. But now going to be threatening this front wall. Void Ray taking some hits. Spending energy on that shield battery. Forcing out a blink. Again, the Sentry ready for that Hallucination. Now, Hero does have a probe in position. There's the Colossus. We have high ground. We do have a shield battery. Hero, he is somewhat ready for this. Voids are being pulled. But the Void Rays are out of range. The Void Rays are going down one after the other, and it looks like Classic has too much. There was no shield battery. There was no overcharge. We now keep 1 Void Ray alive, but that's 1 out of 3. Hero, he lost so much in the process. Did kill a big chunk of Stalkers, actually, though. Was that worth it? Was it worth it in the end? Again, Classic only slightly ahead in Stalkers. Overcharges on cooldown. Classic, he did kill a lot of those Void Rays, but he needs more. He needs to keep going. Second Void Ray does arrive. Hero, he is recovering. Building up his army once again. His opponent up to 10 Stalkers. We dive in. Oh, the first volley was on the shield battery. Now we can focus on the Void Rays as well. No overcharge available. The Void Rays are going down. No, they're not. Hero, he holds. He only lost 1. Again, 1 volley was wasted on the shield battery. You can see that it took damage. That was a misclick from Classic, and that volley could have maybe killed this Void Ray. Ay, ay, ay. And now a Void Ray does rock up. Hero's forcing this back at the same time. Stasis. Oh no! The stasis trap in the main! It goes off. Not like this. Half the probes do get caught out. Hero being very adventurous here. He's pushing out and he gets out positioned. Uh-oh. Stargate's gonna go down. He has to recall. Hero caught with his pants down. And Classic makes his way into the main base, but he cannot fight this main army. Not anymore. Yeah, he does get forced out. And Hero's just getting further ahead. He has a better economy. He has a stronger army. Now, Classic's army is more mobile because of the Blink, obviously. But head-to-head, Classic cannot fight this. Hero's moving out. Bearing in mind that Hero, he did just recall, so he doesn't have a recall available. So Hero has to be very careful with how and when he commits. Hero essentially is stuck at home. Oh! Do trade a Stalker for a Void Ray. Not too bad. Additional Stalkers are coming out. Again, Classic just running around in a big circle, just forcing Hero to chase him. Behind this, no! Another, even bigger than before. A massive stasis trap in the main base. Catches almost everything this time. And again, Classic is completely all in. It's all or nothing. Doesn't go into the main base. Hero was ready for it. Oh no, the Void Ray! Oof. Almost goes down. Finally does fall. Hero can still force this back. Again, a good target firing. Sentry falls. No more hallucinations. Not for now. Hero is just forcing this back. Has he seen the proxy pylon? He doesn't know. He doesn't see. Not aware of where the proxy is. Decent trades here out of Classic. Gonna be reinforcing behind the army of Hero. Black has Hero coming in with more Stalkers. Is going to be forcing Classic back. Hero thinking about a third base even? My god. Mortal production has commenced. Hero gets caught out for a moment. But there's the overcharge. So Hero, he's going to be defending with Stalkers, Shield Batteries, and an Immortal. Goes for a massive counterattack. There's nothing back at him to defend. And Classic, he has to commit, and he just doesn't have enough. Boys are being pulled preemptively. Hero, he knows. He knows he just has to survive. The Immortal arrives as well, within range of the Shield Battery. It's eventually going to go down, but it's trading well here. Killing Stalkers that just aren't being replaced. And across the map, everything is going down. GG gets called, and Hero will survive. He defends against the one base all-in 2 out of 3 times, and that's enough, as Hero will advance on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. With that, he does it. He pulls it off. Hero advances on to the grand finals, eliminating Classic from the tournaments. There can only be one Protoss. Only one. And this week it is going to be Hero. Wait. What? Did Oliveira lose? Hold up. So Hero advances on to the grand finals. He's still waiting for his opponent. I need to double check this. Something is wrong. There's a disturbance in the force. Why is Oliveira out of game? No shot! Oliveira lost? He lost to Cyan. I can't believe it. Oliveira, he has dropped maps to Protoss players before, and it is not updated here. It is not updated on the bracket, but I have confirmation. Cyan did eliminate Oliveira. And Cyan, he's up against Dark. He's up 1-0. He's up 1-0 against Dark as well. Cyan, he's popping off. Oh my god. Okay, so that means no more Terrans. The Terran players have been eliminated from the tournaments. They've all gone down. And by all, I mean one. I mean Oliveira, as he did go down in the first round. And Cyan, he is looking for a PvP finals. He took game 1 against Dark, and he's looking to take game 2 as well. Crazy. If there's a game 3, we'll be casting it. We will be covering game 3 of Dark versus Cyan if it does go in that direction. But yeah, that's crazy. I'm just setting up for it. Dark versus Cyan, who I believe is on the Starving Camels. Yeah. is on the Starving Camels. They're in game number 2 at the moment, and Dark is ahead. Dark is looking to win the game, actually. So it looks like we will be getting an ace match between Dark and Cyan. I don't know what happened in game 1. I do not know what happened. I don't know how Cyan beat Dark and how he beat Oliveira as well. I am uncertain as to how that all occurred, but yeah, Cyan. Crazy. Let's go. We speak about this all the time, but a lot of the Chinese Protoss players that have been improving a lot. They have been getting some really good results. Not just Cyan, but Firefly and Jeshi as well. All 3 of them have been, yeah, looking damn impressive this year specifically. So yeah, with that, GG, well played. Of course, congratulations to Hero for advancing on and making it all the way to the grand finals, eliminating the top 2 Protoss in Korea, eliminating a Classic here in the process. Ooh, and now it comes down to figure out who faces him, who faces off against Hero in those finals. Is it going to be Dark or Cyan? And again, we should be getting that ace match. I shouldn't be. I'll leave that like this. There we go. Oh. I'm just a little bit caught off guard. Caught off guard. But predictions will be paid out. There we go. Now, we won't have predictions for the lower semis if we have the ace match because we're already mid-series, so we're going to be calming things down. Oh, good night. Oh, good night, Slobo. Good night. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. Take care. Here we go. We have an ace match. There it is. We have an ace match. We're diving into Dark versus Cyan into game 3. Again, we missed out on game 1 and game 2, unfortunately. But we do have a 3rd game. And we are more than willing to determine who faces up against Hero in the grand finals. Okay, we're just sorting things out. We're sorting things out in the lobby. Everyone is coming together, so all the casters, shout out to Chicken Man, Anki, of course, Dave, Testa, Apoptosis. I think Apop is casting with Chicken Man, which is really exciting. Shout out to Apoptosis. He used to be a StarCraft streamer. Nowadays, he's taking a break. He's focusing on, you know, other things in life like D&D and other games and enjoying himself. He's not smoging anymore, which is always a good thing. So big shout out to Apoptosis. I believe Into the Inu, Korean caster, is going to be covering this as well. So we do have some Korean coverage. You'd love to see it. And we're getting into that game 3. And I think Steadfast is here as well. As we head into that ace match. So again, we're going to be holding off with the predictions until the finals. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Solaris, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Dragon Kai Gaming, being forced into the ace match. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Chinese Protoss, representing the Starving Camels, SSLT. It is Cyan. Here we go. Dark versus Cyan, ace match. Again, I'm unaware as to what happened in game 1. I know game 2 was on Alkion, and it led into the late game. It led into a split map scenario, or more or less split map. 4-base saturation, maybe a better way to put it. And Dark was able to snowball out of control. He was able to shut Cyan down as Cyan tried to get into Skytoss. And what do we get into here in game 3? For now, Dark forced to take the unnatural natural. Cyan just being a little bit annoying here in the center of the map, or in between the bases even. Just forcing that awkward expansion to be taken. And of course, Cyan getting into his own opener as well. Should be gateway into expansion into that cyber core. Just easing ourselves into this ace match. Hello, Commodore. Hello. Ready for some CranKy game commentary sprinkled with some quacks and rubber ducky inspired analysis of NC2 gameplay. Oh, the duck. Quack, puppy, quack. I said this before. You know, I would love my dream. Okay, once we grow big enough, once we have like a stable financial situation, a pet duck. I would love a pet duck. Pet ducks even. Quack. Imagine the content. It'd be beautiful. We'd have a duck cam as well. I'd have like a cam set up to watch the ducks as they waddle around outside and poop. It's gonna be beautiful. Until then, though, we'll settle with plushie cam. Hold on. Where's the? Oh, there it is. Plushie cam. That's all we got for now. They're watching. They're excited. You got the Zergling and the probe looking after the duck. Oh, it's so wholesome. So wholesome. Alright, let's go. For now, we have our tech of choice. It's going to be a Stargate opener here from Cyan. So nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. Standard opener here should be leading into a third base, into oracles, into some harassment, and into the mid game. Meanwhile, from the other side of the map, we have Dark droning on up. Ling's going to be slipping in for a scout. They do bypass the Adept. They get into the main base, and Dark, ooh, actually, he does go for some probes first. Ooh. One probe goes down. Adepts shading into the main. They get eyes on the Stargate as well. So yeah, a full scout here from Dark, killing a probe. Likewise, across the map, we have Cyan trading with Lings, not quite getting a worker. Just threatening the mineral line and softening things up. Oh, no! As we commit to the shade, and the Adept is going to go down. But softening things up here for the eventual Oracle harass. Losing an Adept, though, is pretty brutal. And Cyan moving out with his next two Adepts is a bold move as well. Link speed has kicked in, and we're going straight for them. We got a surround. No! Another Adept falls, and without these Adepts, we can't even expand. We can't take a third base as another surround almost occurs. All three Adepts go down. For a handful of Lings, this should not have happened. As the Oracle moves out, basically, he's contained. Cyan cannot expand. He cannot take a third base, not with all these Lings out. Not without Adepts. As the Oracle does move out across the map, takes a little hull damage, does deny and cancel a drone even. Does get some damage done, but the Lings, they come back in, they get a kill on the probe. That's all we have to do. Dark just denying the third base over and over and over again. And finally, Cyan can expand now that he has a second Oracle. But this is such a late expansion from our Protoss. So Dark in a pretty damn good position. From here, he's throwing down a safety Roach Warren. Roach Warren's on the way. Ooh, and we have our transition. It was a faster Twilight Council. No Forge, by the way, so it is going to be Glaives. Glaive Adepts are on the way. This is designed to catch Dark off guard, to catch him droning, catch him being too greedy. This looks like a standard opener outside of the delayed third. But really, we're transitioning into aggression. No! Bit of miscontrol there. The Oracle does dip back in and goes down for 3 drones. Not worth 1 Oracle. At the same time, though, Adepts, they shade it in towards the third base. Past the Lings, into the mineral line. And we will focus our workers. As many as we can. 5 drones go down. Not a bad trade here for Dark, but that was 5 workers with the Adepts and the Oracle working together. Meanwhile, here comes the follow-up. We're still warping in Adepts. We still only have 4, actually. We don't have that many. We need an extra warp in. We need some more time. But Roaches are already on the way. As Dark rotates around, does catch it. Oh, does try to catch a Stalker. Doesn't quite get it. Oh, I spoke too soon. Cyan, he gets dragged out of position. Stalker goes down, and now here we go. Cyan is going for his push. Moving out across the map with 6 Adepts. The problem is that because it's been so delayed, because of all the damage that was dealt earlier, we have roaches. We have roaches in position. The Lings, they come in for a surround as well. We commit to the shade. We get into the natural. We do focus down one drone. A second drone as well. As we have Adepts wreaking havoc here at the third base. Damage is being done. But is this worth it? 14 Adepts for 10 workers. We have our transition. It's going to be +1 and Blink for Cyan, getting into, you know, his stable setup here in the mid game. But because he went Glaive Adepts, it means that Blink is late. Blink is late. +1 is late. And the Adepts have been cleaned up, which means Dark has map control. Stasis Trap does get triggered. Dark cutting workers at 53. He's not droning. Dark, he's not even saturated at his natural. Dark, he is deciding not to drone. He's waiting for a timing here with +1 range, roach speed, and nothing but Lings and roaches. Dark, he's going for a kill move. He knows that at the moment, Cyan is vulnerable. He is vulnerable, and Dark wants to take advantage of that. Pushing on forward, does spot the Stasis Trap, I think. He's going to leave it alone. Here comes the army. Again, Dark going for his own all-in. He's technically behind in economy. If Cyan somehow survives this, if he survives by holding his third and maintaining his worker count, then he will be ahead. But here comes Dark. Bile's going to be connecting. They take down every single shield battery. No overcharge. The Oracle as well goes down to the Biles, and it looks like Dark, he has too much. We cannot protect this third base. Everything falls. The third base has been broken. Cyan trying to kite back to his fourth. He does have a handful of Stalkers. But alas, the army of Dark is just becoming too much. Biles once again going to be connecting. They take down the Nexus, depower the Robo. And Cyan just doesn't have enough left. GG gets called. Dark will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Again, Cyan, he had a really rocky start. He had a very shaky start to this game, just falling behind from almost the beginning. The Adepts going down meant that the third base was delayed, which meant that the economy was delayed, and it meant that there was so much more onus on Cyan to get economic damage done. But if you remember, he lost his first Oracle almost straight away. Like, just too many little losses that built up over time, and that did impact this game, did make his army that much weaker, his position that much weaker as we got into the mid game, as Dark got into his all-in. Again, really good execution there from Dark, recognizing that he had dealt enough damage to finish off his opponent with an all-in. So the killer instinct is real from Dark, and with that he takes the series. With that he advances on to the grand finals, and we have a team kill for those finals. Up next, Dark versus Hero. Let's go. It's a matchup that you should be used to in the chats. We have casted it many times here in KSL, ESL Open Cup Asia, Kung Fu Cups. In these online weeklies, Hero and Dark, they face off so often. So very often, and it's always leads to a good match, a good best of 5. I am ready for it. Also, because it's the finals, I won't forget. I'll try not to forget here as I set things up. Predictions will soon be open, so you can place your bets on who you think is going to be this week's champion. Will it be Dark or Hero? They do go back and forth. For some context, the most recent time that they faced in the finals, Hero looked dominant. I mentioned it before. It was 2 weeks ago in KSL, and that was when Hero was experimenting a lot with different variations of Glaive Adepts, and he just took down everyone in his path. All the Zerg players in Hero's path went down. But it's been 2 weeks. It's been a couple of weeks since then, so I would like to believe that Dark is a lot more wise as to what Hero has been doing, and a lot more wise of the potential of what Hero can bring to the table. So I'm sure this time is a little more physically and mentally prepared for what Hero has been up to, which should force Hero to play a very different playstyle. So again, there's a lot of mind games, a lot of variety, typically when these two players face off. Exciting stuff. God, the puns are... Ay, ay, ay. The adept kills were quackalicious. Not like this. Get roaster. Crispy skin roaster. Baby, you're an animal. I'm not gonna buy a duck so I can kill it and eat it, okay? Shaking my head, shaking my head, shaking my head. Ay, ay, ay. I've never eaten duck eggs before. Like, duck eggs are pretty, like, normal. Like, they're like a thing that you can just buy. But, I don't think I've ever had any. But here we go. The vetoes are done. Lobby has been made, and we are getting into our next game. Getting into the grand finals of the KSL week number 36. As we get ready for the finals, there are some commands that you can whip out here. Exclamation mark KSL in the chat. If you want to support this tournament series, if you want to support the Korean StarCraft League and the Korean scene, you can do so via Patreon. There is a Patreon set up for the KSL, organized by both Chicken Man and Dave Testa. And again, this event is funded by the community for the community. So yeah, thank you so much for all the patrons and the people that do support and fund the KSL. Again, if you want to do so, the link is in the chat. As we get into this grand finals, also replay packs are available to patrons as well. So if you're interested in KSL replays, they got you covered with the Patreon. As we get into this, and if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Predictions are open in the chat. Place your bets on who you think is going to be this week's champion. Will it be our Zerg or our Protoss? Up to you to decide. As spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Z Gaming, the best, or one of the best Zergs in Korea. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss, the best Protoss in South Korea, one of the best Protoss in the world. It is Hero. Also on DKZ, also on CranKy Z Gaming, as this is a team kill. I always feel awkward now for the past couple of weeks. Like, I used to always, like, my brain goes, like, into auto mode. Like I used to automatically, like, present Dark as the best Zerg player in Korea. But based off the last GSL, like, I don't know if I can, like, confidently say that, or I don't know how comfortable I am saying that. Personally, I still think that Dark is a more well-rounded player than Solar, but I mean, clearly in league formats and in our most recent GSL, Solar was able to look damn good. So, you know, a contentious spot for #1 in Korea. Contentious between the two of them. Until then, though, we are getting into the swing of things, and do have a hatch gas pool opener here from Dark. Likewise, Hero going for a gate expand into a Cybercore, so economic opener from Hero. Likewise, standard opener from Dark. Everything is looking normal for now, which is important to point out. Dark, he's known for going for a pool first, or a hatch blocks, or a proxy hatch, or, you know, even gas first openers to rush into roaches. Dark is a very aggressive player in this matchup, so very important that Hero scouts and confirms that it's a standard opener. Very important. As we're easing our way into this, we do have the second pylon thrown down out on the map, or out in the main base. So this looks like a Stargate opener. We mentioned before that if the pylon is thrown down closer to the mineral line, it is most likely going to be a Twilight Council instead, just because it's more hidden and more further back. This one a little more further out towards the center of the map, so the rush distance by air is that much shorter, means that the Oracle gets across the map that much faster. Only by a couple of seconds, but every second in StarCraft counts. So there's that Stargate on the way. Now, this doesn't have to be Oracle. This could be a Void Ray opener as well. Hero has been very fond of Void Rays to hunt down Overlords, to deny vision, deny scouting, and to keep Zerg players in the dark. So we'll see what he goes for. For now, Dark taking his third base, droning up, getting his link speed, has pulled out of gas, so we're not going into any kind of fast lair or fast evo chamber. Just link speed for the time being. And we have our unit of choice. It's going to be the Oracle. Oracle first out of Hero. Stalker's on the way as well, so it looks like Hero wants to try to shut down this Overlord one way or another. He's going to be chasing it down. Meanwhile, the Adept is getting across the map, looking for some scout information. Looking to get a read on what's going on. So far, the Lings, they do keep up. They do force a shade. And with the arrival of this Oracle, this Overlord should fall. Should. As the Overlord is on hold position. Should eventually go down. Behind this, we have a second Oracle on the way. So we're doubling down on Oracle production, which means third base. Means we're establishing our third. Taking the triangular third position here. Be pretty well fortified. And the Oracles can now move out. As they move out, Dark, he has one queen and a spore in the main. He has two queens here at the natural, and his third base is exposed, but there's nothing to kill the third. So Dark has a pretty solid setup. Meanwhile, across the map, the Lings do go for a counterattack, but both adepts have been kept safe and they have been kept alive. We mentioned before, remember, in the previous series, Cyan, he lost his first couple of adepts, and that snowballed into a delayed third base. Here, Hero, he is a lot more conservative with his first two adepts, keeps them alive, which keeps his third base safe and sound. So his third is on time. Oh, that is a fast... Okay, we're just rushing into a lair here. This was around a 4-minute 30 lair timing. This should just be a lair for roaches. Yeah, there we go. Roach horns on the way. This should just be for roach speed. Shouldn't be for anything too crazy as gases are being taken. Oracles, they dive into the third base. 4 drones go down. And both Oracles survive. So far, a good amount of damage done here from Hero. And Dark is going for a roach heavy composition. Meanwhile, Hero's transitioning into +1 and Blink. Standard transition +1 and Blink. We have a bit of a gateway explosion. Oh my god. Quite a number of gateways on the way. We're getting up to 8 gates already. A massive gateway explosion that is typically not seen. Not this early on. So we're getting up to 8 gates. Still no robo. Like, usually you delay additional gateways for a faster robo to get into a war prism, to get into observers, more importantly, to get some scouting information. Maybe even immortal production. Adepts, they do get across the map. They do get a couple of worker kills. 3. 4 drones go down. And the Oracles aren't done. Get into the natural. Oh! They get another drone, but it looks like 1 Oracle gets picked off. Very nice snipe there from Dark. But Hero should be setting up a proxy gateway. Yep, there we go. Proxy gateway's on the way. This is a 3-base all-in. No robo, no tech, no Templar archives, no gases at the third base either. 3-base, 8-gate all-in. Did I say 8 gates? 9 gateways. 9 gateways here with this proxy from Hero. He is looking to push out, and he's not going to stop. He's not going to slow down. Just pure Blink Stalkers looking to knock down the third base of Dark. And Dark is unaware. He's droning. He's droned up to 3-base saturation. Not bad. 65 workers. Not a bad worker count. 4th base is on the way. But Dark, the problem is that he doesn't know that the army's coming. And here it is. We're hitting with +1. +1 finishing up just in time. Dark going for an infestation pit, as well as that macro hatch. And we'll see if Dark can hold on. Again, we have +2 on the way behind this. We are taking a 4th Nexus. Oh, right behind the army, actually. Which means we could set up a shield battery with an overcharge. Oh my god. This setup is brutal. But again, it's Swarm Toss. Swarm Toss here from Hero. Still no Robo, still no Templar Archive, still no Robotic Spay. Just pure gateway composition. Not even charge. But Hero, he's testing the waters. He sees the army. Looks like he recognizes that he can't kill his opponent. Stasis Trap's going to be going up. Big Stasis Trap. But again, upon recognizing the size of the army from Dark, that's why we have the 4th base on the way. Dark collapsing on these Stalkers. Getting 1, getting 2. Almost getting a 3rd. Oh, is Dark overextending though? He has to be careful. Piles down another Stalker. Bit of miscontrol there from Hero. Behind this Dark, he's getting into that hive. He's getting his 4th base up and running. His creep is lacking here is what I will say, but should be working on that soon. Doubling down on additional Oracles. Now we're kind of taking up. I'm surprised we don't have charge. I'm very surprised we don't have charge yet. There it is. Charge now on the way, but it feels very late. And here we go. Dark breaking free from his contain. Getting on top of the 4th base. A lot of these roaches are wasting their DPS on this gateway, so a lot of Lings do go down. Oof. Yeah, as Hero is chasing this down. Dark did overextend. He lost a lot of Lings. Now his roaches and Ravagers are exposed. And Hero, he is pulling this off. And Roaches are being focused down. Dark in a lot of trouble. By chasing that army towards the 4th base, that was not the call to make. Here come reinforcements. Hero just snowballing out of control here with a mass gateway army. Does avoid a lot of those biles. Zealots have arrived. Slow lots even. We don't even need charge. Slow lots are all we need. As we had to pull the boys. 13 drones go down. Dark taking a massive blow to his economy. Hero that much more ahead. Gonna be kiting back, avoiding those biles before pushing forward. +1 armor kicking in. Charge as well. And yeah, GG gets called. Dark just cannot keep up. Not with the swarm toss style of Hero, and Hero will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Initially, Dark did well. Initially, Dark did do quite well, actually keeping up and not being too greedy. Remember, he joined up to 65, so 3 base saturation with the 4th base. He had the tools that he needed to hold against the first push. And remember, when Hero saw that first army of Dark, he backed off and he took a 4th. Like, he was, in a way, quote-unquote transitioning. Like, he wasn't really shifting up his army, but he was just working on a better economy. And, yeah, Hero, he respected it. Dark, meanwhile, did overextend. He did chase off of creep, lost all of his lings, lost a lot of roaches in the process as well. And with that, Hero was able to take advantage of Dark. Even though Dark was taking up towards an infestation pit towards Hive Tech, I was a little bit too far away, a little bit too far ahead there. When here in the now, Hero was knocking down his front door. And with that, we have a lead. We have a lead for Hero. And we'll see if he can extend that lead. We'll see if Dark can fight back and force the ace match. Sorry, it's just closing the door. Well, it's just closing the door, but here we go. We're getting into game number 2. And again, it's a best of 5. Plenty of games are ahead of us. Plenty of games available. We'll see where this takes us. Personally, I want at least a game 4. Ideally, an ace match. I want this to go the distance. I want this to go all the way. We'll see if we can get there. Catching up with the chat, and here we go. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Hecate, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon Kaiser Gaming down in this series, looking to fight back, looking to tie it up. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss, also representing Dragon Kaiser Gaming. It is Hero. Leading the series 1-0. But it's still best of 5, still plenty of games to be had. Is a lead, but not insurmountable. As Dark is going to be going for a hatch first, here on the low ground. Getting his natural up and running. Do love to see it. And Hero likewise, most likely going to be going for a standard opener as well. Again, Hecate is one of the larger maps, so we should be seeing a Stargate opener here from Hero. I did mention before that we have been seeing a lot of aggression from Hero recently, like Twilight Council based aggression with Glaive Adepts, but I don't know if this is the best map for that sort of thing. As it is a hatch gas pool. And everything looking normal from the side of Dark. We'll keep an eye on the positioning of the second pylon to try to get a read on what Hero wants to do and where he wants to take us. Again, Hero is in the driver's seat. Eyes are on the Protoss. As he's being as annoying as possible. Tasing away at those drones. Trying to force some inefficient mining as well. Shouldn't achieve too much here, just again, being an annoyance, being a nuisance. Hoping to get on the nerves of his opponent. Win the mental game, if you will. Make him pay extra for that kind of action. Oh no. Don't crush the grapes. They're fragile. As the pylon is thrown down here in between the gases, we do have a Stargate opener once again. A little bit closer to the base this time. I'm curious if we intend to go for a Void Ray first instead. Or we could just go for an Oracle. I mean, you know, either or can work very well here. So, Hero's in position. He delays the third base, forces the triangular third to be taken instead. Oh, at least pulling back that drone. So this does delay the third base of Dark, does force it to be in a more compromised position. It is a little bit easier to like bounce between all three of these bases with the Oracles. And it is in fact going to be that Void Ray first. As I mentioned before, like this Stargate is a little bit closer here to the base of Heroes, so a Void Ray does make a little more sense than an Oracle. Is going to be moving out, is going to be hunting down these Overlords. And he's going to be keeping Dark in the dark. Now, this could be to hide tech or to just make it look like we're hiding tech. Like, that's the scary thing about a Void Ray, is that it doesn't mean that the Protoss is hiding something. They could be hiding nothing. It's just that you don't know. You don't know the difference because the Overlords are going down. And we can see it's going to be a Void Ray into an Oracle, which should lead into a third Nexus. So an economic opener. Now, after the third Nexus, we'll see if we throw down a Twilight Council without or with a Forge. Again, thanks to this Void Ray, Dark is not going to be able to, or he's going to have a hard time finding the difference, so let's go! It's not a Twilight Council, it's not a Forge, it is going to be a Fleet Beacon. The power of a Void Ray opener. Lings are going to try to threaten that wall. Third base is delayed. Void Ray moves out, does catch a second Overlord. And even get some damage done here on the third. There's a second Stargate. Hero, he's rushing into either Carriers or Tempest. Most likely Tempest, but either or do work. Likewise, the Oracle picks off 3 Creep Tumors. Slowing down the creep here of Dark, making it that much more difficult to rotate between the bases. Void Ray rotates into the main, only losing shields. Doesn't get much done though. Again, we're keeping Dark busy. Meanwhile, there we go. We have Tectonic Destabilizers on the way. That is the bonus damage to buildings for Tempest. To structures, technically. Buildings, same thing. Queen gets... the Queen overextends. It gets shut down. And again, Hero rushing into those Tempests. And Dark has no idea. 1 dead Queen, by the way. That does not bode well. We need every single Queen possible. We need as much anti-air as possible. Losing 1 Queen may seem insignificant, but that could be a transfuse. That could be the difference between a defense and a death. Third base now on the way. Dark, he's going Ling Hydra. Oof. I mean, that's not bad. So Ling Hydra, this is designed to shut down Blink Stalkers. So he's assuming that his opponent is going into Blink Stalker play. Hydras at least give you some anti-air against Tempest. They're not ideal, but it's better than nothing. And here we go. The Tempests have been revealed. He knows. He now knows for certain Tempests have hit the field. Hero is pushing out, and Dark is getting ready. Immediately, 3 Queens. Queen production has commenced. How many Queens do we have? 5. Ooh. 5 Queens. Not ideal. Bearing in mind that these Tempests are going to be hitting with that upgrade. At the same time, Link's go for a counterattack. The wall is a wall. Probes are going down. Economic damage is being done. The Tempests, they do get across the map, but Hydras are on the way. Thankfully, again, Dark was going Ling Hydra, so he already has anti-air in production. 1 Queen goes down. Can Dark catch this army? Can he try to sneak around from behind? He's looking to. If he can lure these Tempests further onto creep, we can set up a surround. The Tempests, they get the base down to half HP. Queen's taking a lot of damage. The Hydra's amassing. And so far, so good. Another Queen falls. Hydras, have they been revealed? They have! Hydras have been spotted. Hero knows. And Hero has to be very careful as a result. Hydra's coming in from behind. Again, these Tempests, they're quite fragile. There's only 4 of them. There we go. We're zoning them away. Getting quite a bit of hull damage. Here we go. We're coming from behind. We get 1. The Oracle and 1 Tempest goes down. We're going for a second Tempest as well. It looks like we should barely be able to get it. We barely don't. It's so close. It's so low. We can dive. He's diving. He wants it. He gets it. 2 Tempest. Big loss here for Hero. Surround. Very impressive from Dark. Turning water into wine. Now behind this, ground toss. Behind this, we only made 4 Tempest. And we're going straight into a ground toss transition instead. Blink, +1, Bay, Immortal, soon to be Colossus. Hero just shifting gears entirely. Again, hoping to force an overreaction. He's forcing out a lot of Hydras. Splash damage is going to be ideal, but we don't have any splash damage yet. That's the concerning thing. Obviously, Hero eventually is going to have like Colossus and Storm and Disruptors, but until then, Dark is going to have a stronger army. There's a window. There's a window available where Dark can try to flex this army, catch the Stalkers, catch Hero, and snowball out of control. But so far, these Tempests have been kept alive. We're rotating around. We do force a cancel on the 5th base. Hydra's going to be trying to keep up. At the same time, we do leave a couple of Hydras on the left-hand side, but here comes the main army, and that's not a lot of Hydras. Force another cancel on that 5th, a second cancel. Meanwhile, the Stalker army does push forward. And we do focus down one of the Hydras. And we want another. There we go. Lings have to rotate around. The Tempest, they barely do survive. And Hero's going to back off. He backs off only enough to wait for reinforcements. Here we go. The Prism has arrived. Blink is done. +1 as well. +2 on the way for Hero. He is pushing. He is being forced back to that War Prism, though. The War Prism is exposed. The Immortal. Immortal is barely saved. And as we dance with the Hydra army, Hero, he's buying time for Colossus. The first Colossus has arrived. Second Colossi on the way. Colossi good against all things light, against all things Ling, Bailing, Hydra. Dark a bit out of position though. Queen goes down. Dark trying to set up a surround. Ooh, and where exactly are the Colossi? They're left idle. The Stalkers, they're left on their own, and a lot of Stalkers are getting picked off. Oof. A pretty big loss here for Hero. And again, the Colossus could help so much here as more Stalkers go down. That was 7 Stalkers. For 55 Lings, but again, Stalkers at his gas. But here we go, we do collapse on these Lurkers, sorry, on these Hydras. They're exposed! We dive on the Hydras, and Dark, he's gonna lose so much here. The Roaches push forward, they do close the gap, they close the distance on that Colossus. But the Hydras, for the most part, they have all gone down. An expensive loss here for the Zerg. Trying to push on forward. Good juggling here from Hero. Colossi, they're tanking some damage, and yeah, we can just keep this ball rolling. Dark does not have enough. That was an overextension. He chased those Stalkers far too out. And now Hero, he's pushing once again. He is breaking this position. The Tempest is still alive as well. Oh, one Hydra kills a Tempest. But only Hydras against Colossus. Nah, this is not going to work out. The army is melting. Dark, he cannot keep up with this. GG gets called, and Hero will take game number 2, taking a solid lead in this series. GG. GG, well played. Hero, 1 game away, una más, 1 game away from becoming this week's KSL champion. And again, Dark was kind of taken for a bit of a ride there. Like, Dark initially getting ready for the Tempest, or I mean, he didn't know about the Tempest until they were revealed. Wasn't aware about the ground toss transition. Thankfully, he had Ling Hydra, which wasn't too bad against the Stalkers. But Dark also wasn't aware of the Colossus. If he was aware of the Robo and eventual Colossus on the way, we would have been seeing an Infestation Pit, we would have been seeing a Hive, and eventually Vipers. Hydra Lurker Viper would have been the composition for Dark. He had no idea. He assumed that he was up against a Gateway composition. That's why he stayed on Ling Hydra. Ling Hydra is ideal against Blink Stalkers. So, I mean, he just assumed that that's what we were working with. Meanwhile, Hero, he teched up even further, went for the Colossus, and that was the nail in the coffin. That completely blindsided Dark. He wasn't ready for it. Was caught off guard, and with that, Hero needs one more win to close it out. Oh boy. The pressure is on Dark. pressure is on, and can he bring it back? Can he bring it back? Meanwhile, it looks like the bracket was updated with the Cyan Oliveira score. Did go to the ace match as well. Wasn't a 2-0, which I didn't think it was, but I mean, there was always a possibility. Now we are getting into our next game. Into game number 3. Potentially the final game of the series. I hope not. I hope we go the distance. I hope that this goes to the ace match. But it's not on me. It's on Dark to bring it all back. Well, it's on Dark to try to keep up with the nonsense that Hero throws out. The chaotic nature of Hero. Again, very unpredictable, you know? Game 1, going into essentially a 3-base all-in with Mass Blink Stalker. You're in Game 2, going into Sky Toss, and now we find ourselves in Game 3. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of our Kione, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing CranKy Z Gaming. Needs to fight back here and now. It is Dark. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss leading the series 2-0, 1 game away from becoming this week's champion. Also representing CranKy Z Gaming, it is Hero. Okay, they are teammates. They are some of the best players in their region, in all of Korea. But here in the finals of KSL, Hero, he is running away with it. Oh, again. Dark. Dark, he wants the expansion. It's going to be delayed, but he does get the natural. Did force some lost mining time. Is late, but he does get his natural up and running. So, Dark, very much so adamant, very afraid of a Twilight Council. I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. Again, if Dark was forced to expand elsewhere, that would create an opening here for Hero to go for a Twilight Council opener into Glaive Adepts. And we have seen Hero pull Dark apart with Glaive Adepts before. So again, very important that Dark does take this natural base, especially if he's afraid of that. So he is getting into a standard setup. Delayed expansion, but standard setup from nonetheless. Hatch, gas pool. Likewise, Hero going for a standard opener as well. Ooh, the pylon does get thrown down. Once again, in line here with the mineral line. So, speaking of Twilight Council openers, that could be what Hero goes for. Could be. Remember earlier, we saw a similar positioning with the pylon, and it was for a Void Ray opener instead. So that is also a big possibility. As we're getting into this, we do have Warp Gate delayed, for good reason. Warp Gate is going to be delayed, so this should be leading into a Stargate. There we go. Stargate is on the way. Now, Dark, he's fully aware that Warp Gate isn't being researched, so that is a big tell that it's going to be a Stargate-based opener. Whether it's Oracle or Void Ray, yet to be determined. I'm imagining this is going to be a Void Ray first, but we'll see. We'll see. As we have the third base being taken. Third base is on the way. Death threading a shade towards the main, just trying to get a read on the saturation, on the drone count, on the gas count. Dark is making a decent chunk of lings. Second Adept does arrive. And we are going for an Oracle first. Okay, we have a standard opener. Should be Oracle into a third base, into a second Oracle, maybe even up to a third Oracle as well. Dark, he's committing for a scout. He's diving into the main base, and he will get eyes on the Stargate and the first units as well. Dark, he knows. Or he's soon to know. Behind this, Dark, he's just going to be droning, saturating his bases. Dark, he, I believe, didn't see the Oracle. He goes in and he sees the lack of any buildings before pulling out. Oh, interesting. That is a fast Evo chamber. This should be for +1 melee. Okay. So Dark shifting gears, going for what looks to be a more Lingbane based composition. Assuming it's +1 melee. Oracle dips in, gets a drone. Up. Oh, gets a second worker as well as the Spore wasn't done. And 2 workers isn't bad, but the Oracle took a lot of damage. It's very low at this point. It's going to be very difficult to really achieve too much more. There it is. Plus on melee is on the way. So again, this should be for a much more Ling Bane heavy composition. Could be Ling Bane into Hydras even. Or just Ling Bane Roach Ravager. As the Oracles, they rotate around. They threaten the main base, but once again, there is a Queen in position. We don't find a way in. But the Adepts, they have arrived. 5 Adepts going to be threatening these bases. They are vanilla Adepts, and all they do get surrounded. 1 Adept does go down. But we commit to the Shade. We get into the main base. Lings, they arrive just in time as well. And Dark will not lose his economy. Not like this. Likewise, the Oracles, they dive in as well. They threaten the main, but Queens, they do turn back in time. Oh, we're up to 3 Oracles, though. Oh, no! Oh, it looks like one of the Oracles is going to go down. A big overextension from Hero. Not really worth it. But the Adepts make it into the mineral line once again, and they get damage done. Oh my god. Another 2 drones go down. Can we get a third? Oh, we barely can get a third drone as well. Meanwhile, I mentioned earlier, because of +1 melee, there it is. Baneliness is on the way, so it is going to be, again, a very Ling Bane-centric composition here from Dark. Can get into Hydras a little more easier. The Oracles, they return. They got another 3 drones. 4. Ay, ay, ay. That is 13 dead workers in total, and we also get eyes on the 4th base. At the same time, Lings, they do go for a big counterattack, but the wall is a wall. We're in position, and Hero holds. Meanwhile, his transition is upon us. Twilight Council and a Forge. It's going to be +1 on Blink. It's +1 alongside Blink Stalkers. We'll keep an eye on the gateway counts. Again, we should, if we do like go for a big gateway explosion into 8 gates again, like we saw previously in this series, it's going to lead into an all-in. But I'm not too fond of all-ins on Alkyone. There it is. 4th base is on the way. We're getting into a macro game. We're getting into the mid-game. Let's go. Like an actual mid-game this time. Which we haven't really experienced. We've been seeing a lot of aggression, a lot of like wild builds and twists and turns so far in this series. But this is looking to be the much more standard build, the standard game here of the series so far. Again, it makes sense. Alkyone does lead into a lot of mid and even late game scenarios. A very defensive map, very difficult to break a player at their 3rd or even their 4th base location. And we'll see if Dark tries, because Dark is making more Lings. He has a Hydroden on the way, getting his 4th base and a macro hatch at the same time, and he is not droning. Oh. Dark is not making workers. He's got Baning speed on the way. We got Hydra range. There we go. We have 6 drones now in production. He invested a lot. He invested a lot into these Lings, and that did delay his economy. That's why Hero actually has a worker lead. These Lings, they haven't been worth it. Blink is done. The Stalkers blink away, and again, a big loss there for Dark. We'll see if he can make it work it though, because here we go. Banelings are on the way. We have 4 Banelings getting ready to waddle into that 3rd base. Lings, they distract at the 4th. We're going in. Up. Hero. He's not paying attention. Not paying attention. Big connections. 11 probes go down. And suddenly investing into all those things was worth it, but I spoke too soon. We do get some more drone kills across the map. That's 4 dead workers and lost mining time at the 4th base. I still like Dark's position a little bit more now, but that was quite a bit of damage. Behind this, Ling Bane Hydra. Infestation Beast on the way, which means Dark, he's thinking about Hive, he's thinking about Vipers, he's also thinking about Lunkers. But before we can think about Lunkers, Hero is here. He has arrived, he's blinking over the wall. Gonna be threading the gold. Yeah, and he should be forcing a cancel. Base is gonna be cancelled, then Hydra does rock up. Dark still in 4 bases. Even base count with Hero. Hero, he's recouping his probe losses. And he's working towards a robotic spade. So it does feel like Dark is 1 step ahead. What I mean by that, we already have the Hive. The hive is in production, which means we're going to gain access to Vipers, and that is going to be our answer to Disruptors and Colossus, which is what's on the horizon. Hero is working on a second Robo and a Bay. Again, should be for a Robo-based, like, kind of backbone to the army of Hero, but Dark should be ready for it. Now, what we are lacking is a Lurker Den. We haven't seen a Lurker Den yet. Dark just sticking with the mobile army instead, with Lingbane Hydra. Lingbane Hydra just still on the way. Dark about to max out. He is pushing. Catches the Stalker. Hero diversifying his splash damage. He's going Colossus into Storm. Templar Archives is on the way. Archons and Storm would be amazing against this army from Dark. Like, again, Dark is all things light here. It's Ling, Bane, Hydra. It's such a fragile army. A lot of DPS, but it's a bit of a glass cannon. But the Templar Archives isn't done. Storm isn't done, which means there's a window. There's a window where Dark can make this army work. They're the Vipers. Yeah. Hero is making 2 Colossi at a time, so does Dark have enough abductions available here to shut down those Colossi? Likewise, can he avoid those stasis traps? As the Prism does threaten that 4th base. Zealot run by gets in, we kill a Queen. Not too bad. Queen goes down, Lings are retreating back home here to shut down these Zealots. Oh. As the Zealot does wreak havoc in the main base, it gets cleaned up at the same time. A big Doom drop into the main, and Hero, he is not in position. He's not ready for this. He doesn't have a recall at the Nexus. Uh-oh. And here comes the Doom drop. Meanwhile, Hero, he's just getting ready for a frontal assault. Stalkers are being forced back. And again, do we have any warp-ins? As the Lings, they do push on forward, drop into the main base. You do have a warp-in of a couple of Stalkers. Sorry, a couple of Zealots even. But the Lings are borrowed. Cannons, shield batteries are on the way. Which will reveal these Lings. Hero does have to be careful. Oh, Lurker Den now on the way. It feels like this Lurker Den is late. Feels like a late Lurker Den, which means late Lurker upgrades. Here we go, Dark pushing forward with all these Banings at the same time. He does not borrow the Lings. He does have 2 armies. But Hero only has to defend 1 location. Ooh. Stasis Trap does get baited out. Yeah, Dark being forced back. Hero trading very nicely here. And again, this Lurker Den is late. Like, we needed this Lurker Den a minute ago. Without it, Hero is maxed and he's getting ready to move out. Here he's getting ready for his push. And this is a terrifying push. How many High Templar do we have? We have 6 High Templar, some of which are in that War Prism. And can we deal with this death ball of an army? Oh, the feedbacks! No abductions! The Vipers, they get shut down. Big storms on the army. Oh, massive storms even! Lingbane trying to close the distance, but the Colossus stands strong, and Hero, he's snowballing out of control. Again, the Lingbane army gets annihilated. The Vipers, they're not ready for this. And Hero, he can keep on pushing. Dark in a lot of trouble. He has 5 Lurkers on the way. They would have helped earlier. Oh, we dive on the Vipers. The Vipers are being focused now, one after the other. Lings, they try to close the gap. The Lurkers, they have arrived. Do we have detection? The Lurkers, they hold. The Lurkers, they do hold on. Dark survives. Again, if it wasn't for these Lurkers, Hero could have kept pushing. 100% he could have kept pushing, could have broken this, and probably would have killed Dark. The Lurkers, they arrive just in time. Meanwhile, Hero going for a split push, pushing towards the natural base, and also going for his Zealot run by here at the gold. He's going for gold. The Colossus taking some hits. Oh, we do pull back in time. Lurkers are in position. The Zealots are being surrounded, but they get 17 drone kills. Oh my god. And we get behind the mineral line. We're camping the tech. We're getting on top of the Lurker Den. Oh, the Colossus do overextend, but the Zealots, they bust into another mineral line. Being cleaned up. The Lurker Den goes down. What you see is what you get. We have 7 Lurkers, and that is all we have. 7 Lurkers with only Lurker range. No adaptive talons. These Stalkers are eventually going to be cleaned up, but Hero, he's running away with this. He has a gold base. He has a wall of cannons, shield batteries, 5th base on the way. Sorry, 6th base on the way, a little bit off center, and Skytoss. 2 fleet beacons, a fleet beacon, 2 Stargates. Skytoss is upon us. Hero, he is just 1 step ahead. Here come the Lurkers, though. They try to get himself the army. 1 Colossus goes down, but it's just too much. GG gets called. Hero, he snowballs out of control. Doesn't even need the Skytoss. Doesn't even need the 6th base, and Hero will be this week's KSL champion. GG. GG, well played. Hero, oh my god. I mean, there was a lot that was happening in that game. Overall, Hero just taking a much more defensive stance and defensive outlook on that game, just turtling up and defending, only harassing with Stalkers and building up his Colossus and eventually Storm count as well. Meanwhile, Dark was late to tech. He was late to tech. He was going Lingbane Hydra Viper, which was okay, but remember, the Lurker Den was late. The Lurker Den was very late. It looked like Dark didn't quite piece together what Hero was doing in time. By the time he did, again, because the Lurker Den was late, it meant the Lurker upgrades were late, and it meant that Lurkers themselves were not out in time. The Lurkers, they actually allowed Hero to live. They allowed him to survive against the first push, but he lost so much in the process already. He had already taken so many losses. It was too late. It was too late. GG, well played. With that, Hero is this week's Korean StarCraft League champion, taking down Dark 3-0. Very impressive performance here. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the only player to take a game off of Hero tonight was Classic. I think Classic, in that PvP in the semifinals, which we did cover, which was very intense and could have gone either way, to be honest. Yeah, Classic was the only one to make Hero bleed. So yeah, pretty strong performance here by Hero. Again, we spoke about this before. To me, no surprise that Hero won here, just because Hero has been looking terrifying in PvZ. I mentioned before, but over the past 2 weeks, like, Hero, he's just been knocking over Korean Zergs over and over again. Dark, Solar, DRG, Shin, like, Hero's been, yeah, on a bit of a win streak here against Zerg players, at least the Korean Zergs. And he's been looking terrifying. So yeah, kind of a well-won series here from Hero. My condolences to Dark, but he does get 2nd place, which is, you know, not too shabby at all. Coming in 2nd here, getting a decent paycheck as well. And with that is going to be our conclusion of this week's KSL. A lot of really good matches, a lot of fun series. You know, even to kick things off, Ashbringer versus Damaga was a lot of fun, leading into Hero, leading into the PvP, which was, again, very chaotic, and the reason why I love PvP as a mirror matchup, especially Korean PvP, just very chaotic, just non-stop all-ins, basically. And here in the finals as well, Hero really just showcasing his wide breadth of play. Bearing in mind that Hero, every game he did something different. Game 1, went for a Swarm Toss style, went for a 3-base all-in, just limited gases, just pure gateway units in Game 1. Game 2, he rushed into Sky Toss, rushed into Tempest, then going for a ground switch into Stalkers and Colossus. And here in Game 3, going for a much more tech-heavy Turtle style, where he, like, really Hero was, outside of course, harassing with Oracles and Adepts, he was just building up his defenses back at home, fortifying himself on 4 bases, which is how you should be playing out Alkyone. It does kind of favor that playstyle before moving out with a death ball of an army. GG, well played. Again, with that does wrap up our first broadcast of the day, our first of many. So we just wrapped up with KSL. If you enjoyed the broadcast, if you want some more CranKy Duckling action, we're going to be live in 2 hours. 2 hours. Enough time for me to get some food and to have a shower and get ready for a long night of casting. In 2 hours, we're going to be live with Grand Platypus Open, with GPO. That is our regional tournament, our region locked event for the Asia region. Asia and Oceania. So it's actually very similar to KSL. KSL, they have a Patreon to support the Korean scene. We have a Patreon to support the American and the Asian scene, basically. We do our part to try to support some of these smaller regions like Latin America, North America, Southeast Asia, Oceania. You can see our goal there. Exclamation mark Patreon in the chat if you do wish to support us. All the money that we make on our channel, like from subscriptions and donations, it all goes towards the Patreon, or towards our tournaments, maybe a better way to put it. And again, Grand Platypus Open is later on in 2 hours. Otherwise, if you want to support the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League, exclamation mark KSL in the chat. We got plenty of commands. And if you want to learn how to play like Hero, like Classic, Dimaga, Dark, Oliveira, replay packs are available for KSL over on Patreon. So they got you covered. They got you covered. Likewise, again, we also give out replay packs from all of our other events, so like Kung Fu Cup and GPO, Sparkling Tuna Cup, OSC King of the Hill. Again, we send out replays as well to our own subscribers and to our own patrons alongside them. So again, plenty of stuff out there if you're interested in supporting the StarCraft scene. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Is Gogo Joey playing in Grand Platypus Open? It's on Gogo Joey. If he shows up, then yes, yeah, he usually does, but sometimes he's unavailable, so if he's available, he should be there. That's in GPO, we typically feature players like Nice, Gogo Joey, Mia Micah, Hon Mono, to name a few of our regional players. So look forward to it. Again, 2 hours time. Meanwhile, if you're gonna go have a nap, and if you're gonna get some sleep, and if you happen to wake up in how many hours? In 6 hours time. So if you go to bed now, if you wake up in 6 hours, we're also gonna be live, because after GPO we have World Team League. World Team League is upon us, and we're gonna be featuring Team Liquid versus DragonKy Gaming, which means you're gonna see Dark and Hero, instead of fighting against each other, they're gonna be working together, going up against Team Liquid, which is Clem, Cure, a Laser, and many others, Mana as well. So yeah, we do have Team Liquid versus DragonKy Gaming tonight, alongside Onside versus Sidestorm Gaming. So a lot of really good matches, again in 6 hours time. So if you're going to bed, we'll see you when you wake up. we'll see you. I mean, even if you go to bed now, in 8 hours, we're probably still going to be casting WTL. It's like a 4-hour event. But if you wake up in 8 hours, you're going to miss out on DragonKy Gaming. Oh no. So set your alarms. Set your alarms. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it. Shout out to all the players, or sorry, all the people that did win out on those predictions as well. And yeah, stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Not too sure who, but we'll be raiding someone. And we'll be back in 2 hours with some more StarCraft. So again, our weekends are usually really busy. We're casting 3 events tonight, and I think we're casting 2 tomorrow, not 3. Thankfully not 3 tomorrow, only 2 tomorrow. So again, we're always live here on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. That's our busiest days. So we'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend, and take care. Hasta luego. Bye. Hasta luego.